Hi, and welcome to our broadcast of the chess.com Global Chess Championship. This is me, Soumya, and with me is Srinath, your regular host, our friendly neighborhood GM, and the ever charming Harshit Raja. Hi, Srinath and Harshit, how are you doing?
Hi Samya, thanks for the introduction, and hi Srinath. It's great to see you guys.
Absolutely. Great to be back. Great to be back with you, Soumya and Harshit after a really long time on stream.
Yes,
Yeah,
I think
and
the last times we were on stream together, we were probably not discussing chess.
okay, I surely missed that stream. I must go back and watch it, at least the
It
clips
doesn't
of
have to be any different. Just saying.
Today we have a wonderful matchup lined up for us. Nihal Sarin versus Ding Liren and Nepomniachtchi versus Teimour Radjabov. These are the last two matches of the round of 16, and whoever wins qualifies for the finals in Toronto. What are our predictions for these two matches today? Maybe
I
Srinath, you can
I
go
think Nihal Ding, I'm really not sure what to choose, Soumya. Ding is, of course, the stronger player, a world championship challenger. He's been in the candidates, but if Nihal doesn't want to lose, then it's very hard to defeat him. And Ding will have to defeat Nihal to win this match. And also, we have seen how incredibly good Nihal can be in the 15 plus 2 format. I don't exactly recall. He was undefeated against Vladimir Kramnik, a former world champion, and he was also pretty smooth against Rolf Mamedo earlier. So I think this is almost 50-50. I do have a bit of bias here with regard to Nihal, but I think it's almost 50-50 here. Nepo Raja, on the other hand, once again, Raja like Nihal is incredibly hard to defeat if he doesn't want to lose. And Nepo will have to try and defeat him. So two people playing in a world championship match here, both of them slight favorites, but I think very slight. At best, something like 51-49.
But it's crazy how big of a favorites the predictors at the chess.com predictors show.
Yeah, who are these
Wow.
predictors? I have a question. Like, Ding Liren gets 83% versus 17. What is this
But
prediction?
what is 96 versus 4?
Yeah, why? In fact, I would think that the solid guys would get the upper hand in knockout matches because you can draw the four games and in the Armageddon you take black. I mean, why is the prediction so skewed towards Nepo and Ding?
I think it's just the public voting on whom they find as the favorite. So I don't really think that it's based on any algorithm. It's just based on what it's just based on. I guess they're the fan favorites.
Yeah,
हमारी
chaps, what are
इंडियन
your
जनता
thoughts?
हाँ हमारी इंडियन जनता ने शायद ये पोल मिस कर दिया नहीं तो ये कभी नहीं होता हर्षित बिकॉज निहाल एंड तैमूर both are our fan favorites here so I'm sure our public is voting for both of them chat क्या बोल रहे हो आप chat is not yet given any predictions come on chat what are your predictions for our match today. Yeah, and I noticed this chat before we began that Fenish Jain says, Nihal is my most favorite human being. I was surprised and I was telling Shrinath that Fenish probably doesn't even know Nihal in person and he has already decided that he's his favorite human being.
Nihal is my favorite human being too.
Oh,
Really?
Isn't he
Clearly,
everyone?
you have not spent enough time with Nihal.
Shrinath has different ideas. Now that he has spent the last 10 days with Nihal, he's
He said enough.
But Nihal came with his dad to the ECC, so it was a big relief. It was nice, and we had a lot of fun. We were playing table tennis almost every day. Nihal, Arjun, his dad, and on the last day, Gukesh and Vishy also joined us.
how
So
nice.
it was a lot of fun.
Who is the best among them in TT?
Nihal,
Nihal is. Okay.
yeah. Nihal has this incredible ability. It's a bit funny that we are talking about who's good at table tennis in front of Harshit. If Harshit was there, he would have beaten all four of his handicap.
Huh.
Uh, but yeah, Nihal has this incredible ability to go from one corner to another corner in 1 second. He plays bullet in real life also. He's so skinny, but he can move so fast. He's so agile. He can reach anywhere in terms of breadth.
Yeah, Harshit in general is good at all sports, so let's not compete with him.
I
It's
mean,
like,
better way to put it is Harshit is only good at sports.
Only good at other sports. Okay, but that's a bit unfair, Arshit. That's a
no,
bit too much of
yeah, that's too
underplaying.
modest of him. Yeah, he's too modest of him. But yeah, Nihal actually, I remember he was playing a lot of TT in Sitges as well. Meanwhile, we are waiting for the matches, and we've been told that Nepo versus Raja will be the first match to begin today. Um, and then we go with Nihal versus Ding. So we are waiting for the players to join in. Chat is all Nihal, 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 but nobody's making predictions for Nepo versus Teimour. What about that, guys? And Ankit Garg has a question. Actually, he asked me this yesterday also. For a player like Magnus who has achieved everything now, what must be his goals for the rest of his career and life? Just play random tournaments. I thought I didn't answer this question because it's very hard to be in a position, put yourself in the same position as Magnus and think on his behalf. But I think in brief, we can just say that chess is much more than titles, no?
True. There's always something more.
Yeah, and there's always the
And
next step.
Magnus also clearly stated it out, no? He wants to get to 2900. 2900, and there is also a lot of world championship titles at stake, although he has elected out of the official classical world championship cycle. There is the Fisher Random Championship coming up on October 26th, and the World Rapid, the World Blitz Championship. There are all these little kids coming up who will be a fascinating challenge for Magnus, who is trying to, already get a score against. So they start fearing him from the beginning.
I think that moving forward, World Rapid and Blitz might be one of the more. Uh, I don't know. I mean, it's definitely more looked forward to even now, but like it might even have more importance for many.
Yeah, absolutely. At least for me, it is. All right. So the games are about to begin almost any minute here. And I think the Radjabov Nepo game will start first. And we'll be checking a bit of both the games. But I'll be here only for the first game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the highest seeded player starts with the white, right?
I'm not sure. I think, but I think
Yeah.
that like it's actually in that sense, if Nihal manages to like do well in the first game with the black pieces, he would have confidence going into the second game with the white pieces. So if he like gets like a nice solid draw.
And what are your predictions for the openings, Harshit? What do you think will be the likely openings we'll see today?
I mean, so I think that Ding will try e4 today in the first game because
Mm-hmm.
I am not sure. At least I have not seen Nihal playing many Berlins, or maybe I'm wrong. And I feel that players like Ding would be more inclined to play e4 if his opponent is not playing Berlin, because that's probably for them one of the only like only openings which makes deters them from playing e4.
Right. And Soumya, what are your predictions for the openings that we might see today?
So yeah, Teimour will stick to Berlin if Nepo goes for e4. But yeah, it's quite likely that he might play e4 in one game and then switch to c4 in the other. I feel English, something like English. He can try. And with white, Teimour also plays d4 and e4 both. So I'm expecting perhaps one Sicilian and
Oh, that would be great.
Guys, Ding plays a lot of Catalan, right? Are you skipping over d4 on purpose? Yeah,
King
Akshat is
versus
like one
Nihal.
e4 and
I'm
you're like one
focusing.
e4 and c4.
Arey, I am thinking about Nepo versus Teimour का match था. I am yet to come to Ding versus Nihal. Yes, I
अच्छा.
think उनके match में तो Catalan हो सकता है. Or Ding also plays a lot of King's Indian actually from black. So, but I don't. Yeah, it's quite possible that he'll go for King's Indian in one of the games. No, why not?
King's Indian.
I'm not. Yeah,
I
He
think
plays
that
a
it would be a
lot.
brave choice.
yeah, it would be very
Acha.
brave, especially because Nepo. Like I mean, he can still do it, but like against, I feel that Nepo and Hikaru are the kind of players who would love to play the King's Indian from the white side because they
नहीं नहीं
probably have played it from the black side as well.
नहीं I'm talking about Ding versus Nihal ka match.
Oh,
Mixing,
wow.
we are mixing it up because Ding also plays a lot of King's Indian, and I thought it would be an interesting. Um, but Srinath might know exactly what is going to happen in that match because he might have discussed with Nihal before the game. So we'll wait and watch. At the end of the stream, before you're going, we'll at least ask you what's going to happen, whether the first game was as per your predictions.
I'm kind of hoping to see at least one Catalan from Ding because he does play a lot of Catalan, and at least one London from Nihal because that's going to be my upcoming course. So,
Acha. And Nihal is
which
your
is
personal brand ambassador. Nihal, Arjun, Divya, all of them are Srinath's brand ambassadors.
yeah. Anshika in the chat says Raja also plays Catalan. Oh, Anshika knows so much.
Wow.
Mrinal is asking 1b3 incoming 2. I really don't see that happening on first move.
No, I don't think. But I remember Teimour played one b6 against Nepo in a must-win game in their knockout, one of the knockout matches in the online tournament. So that was an epic game, but that was because he was in a must-win situation and he actually managed to win that game. But yeah, that's quite unlikely, I think.
Yeah. Wish there was at least one more Indian in the mix, Ripan says. Absolutely. I'm it was a first event for a lot of the Indians. Maybe, the next edition, second edition, these kids would be even more monstrous. Yeah. Arjun. Gukesh did not play in the CGC this time because it was clashing with the Spanish league. And also, he thought that it might clash with ECC. But that said, it could have been scheduled because Nihal was also playing in the Spanish league. He was also playing in the ECC. And chess.com is quite flexible with the scheduling of the matches. They work really hard to ensure that despite the busy tournament schedules of the different players, for instance, the US Chess Championship happening, the ECC happening, despite that, they still manage to find a window for the players to accommodate the players. And meanwhile, chat, do smash the likes. diamond membership giveaway coming at 100 likes. And if you are reading the chat, you also know what really improves your chances of getting that diamond membership. So go for it. Learn from Ankit Garg.
So the
What is Ankit's mention?
Ankit had to retract his earlier comment,
Oh,
which
for
shall
the
not be
diamond
mentioned,
membership.
for the possibility of diamond membership.
You know, yesterday was Amitabh Bachchan's birthday, and I was thinking if Srinath had hosted KBC, he would be like, आप जीत चुके हैं 1 करोड़ डायमंड मेंबरशिप एंड क्या करेंगे इतने डायमंड मेंबरशिप्स इतने पजल रशेस का आप instead of oh god I just had this I always have all these crazy thoughts about Srinath because he's always like oh I think the games have begun, no, have they?
Oh wow.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, seems so. Let's dive right into the games.
Let's go.
You are saying, Soumya?
No, I always think that Srinath is always talking about all this puzzle rush and diamond membership, and I had this crazy idea that even in KBC you would give away diamond memberships only instead of
Money.
what come for.
So they play.
I know what I would want to do if I had like a crore diamond memberships. I would just go to schools and distribute it, and I think that will be good for everyone. Sorry, Harshit.
No, I was just saying that they started with this Tarash opening, which actually Nihal has implemented a lot. If I'm not mistaken, I've seen a lot of games by Nihal in this line. And White goes for this kind of complicated line with Bishop G5. The other way for White to play is to try to play against the isolated pawn, but now we see that there's going to be a lot of strategic complications in this game.
Right.
They're playing very fast actually, and ये pawn structure अभी black का खराब हो चुका है, but he has a pair of bishops in return, so it seems to be all preparation so far.
Yeah, seems so.
Actually, King Rook G8 are also ideas that black can go for, or King G7.
So I once played this with black, and what I was trying to do is like to try to go King H8, Rook G8, and F5. So he goes for King G7. So I'm kind of curious to see how he wants to play this, because it has a lot of strategic danger, obviously.
पर F5 के बाद आपका बिशप ब्लॉक नहीं हो जाता है या आप F4 खेलोगे बाद में?
I guess like after F5 you want to probably break with F4 at some point.
Right. So
right. Does White go knight e2 here straight away? Try to get the knight to F4. Another idea is to break with E4, yeah? But Ding chooses none of the above
A4
and goes for A4, which is a pretty interesting move. This just gives an outpost to the bishop on B4, and what does it really do? It's not the side that I would focus on if I were White.
So does he want to go like A5, A6, B6? Wow, very...
I thought it was a prophylaxis against future B5. But having said that, I don't really understand this move A4. I'm also curious if it's a psychological way to, just make a move that Nihal was potentially not prepared against. So, Nihal was blitzing out, and it's quite useful sometimes to try and just slam the break button. He goes knight e2 anyway. Nihal goes bishop d6, and seems like Nihal is still in his prep. And guys, I'm as clueless as you guys on whether Nihal is in prep or not.
Maybe something like G3.
Yeah, G3 is possible, but do you want to commit that? Because you will also be taking away the G3 square
G3
for the
square for
knight
the
in the
knight.
future, no?
Yeah, that's true. Knight G3 actually after Bishop G3 white probably might even spend some time to consider F into G3 if that ever happens.
Hmm. Hmm. True. That looks nice. That looks interesting. I predict a queen move from white. If it was hand and brain, I would just say queen and then didn't figure out whether to move to D2 or C2. What what would you play?
If in white's position now,
Yeah. Meanwhile,
Knight
Kapil is asking
F4.
in such a four-game match, does Nihal have a preference for black or white in game one? It's a bit tricky, I think, but the last I was with Nihal, he had a bit of preference for black, so he gets white in the last game. But that was a really long time ago in 2020, and I think a lot has changed since then. There has been just so many more tournaments.
Yes. So Knight G3 idea, maybe Knight H5 and create some uh, chances on the king side. So what if I go Knight G3 here, Srinath?
Yeah,
How
I
would
like
you?
knight g3. I think black has to take bishop into g3, right? There is no other option. You just can't allow that knight to h5.
Yeah. Once the knight comes
And
to H5, this pawn will be very weak by H5.
yes, and
So
after bishop takes g3, you want to recapture with the f pawn, right?
I was thinking if like I could do this because it's, I mean, very unusual, obviously, but it at least like um, opens
The rook
the rook.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and potentially a queen on f2.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think this certainly will help white create pressure. The rook could go to f4.
Mhm.
You can even have a tripling of the queen. Is this called Alekhine battery?
हाँ, वो क्वीन एंड रूक्स अगर एक ही फाइल पे ट्रिपल लुक होते हैं तो उसका
Mhm.
अल्काइन बैट
But is it with the rooks in the with the rook in the front? The rooks all have to be in the front, and the queen has to be in the back, right?
अच्छा आई थॉट इट्स जस्ट लाइक तीनों एक फाइल पे ट्रिपल हो जाए तो अल्काइन बैटरी है
Okay.
आई डिड नॉट नो दैट देयर इज अ डिफरेंस मैंने भी ये स्ट्रीम्स वगैरह देख के ही सीखा है ये सब टर्म्स बचपन में कोई सिखाता नहीं है
So is Ding still thinking, or did he choose knight c3, or did was a move played?
I don't know.
Queen c2.
It Yeah, queen. So at least the hand and brain worked. Played queen c2, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Knight. Oh, he started with knight c3. Okay, bishop b4 and now queen c2. Interesting. So he just repeated knight e2 and knight c3, right?
Yeah, he just repeated moves. And do you think that he ever wants to go something like e4 and
Always in there.
break open? He goes rook f1. I think he actually is trying to support this pawn and then try to go for e4.
हाँ
Yeah.
दैट मेक्स सेंस इसीलिए उन्होंने F5 खेल दिया
So
नहीं तो
f5 preventing the e4 square. Such a strategic, like they're just trying to play against what white, like what their opponent is trying to do. So a,
prophylaxis
I guess
हाँ
he wants to go b5.
Yeah, but to be honest, I really like Ding's position here. It looks like a clearly strategically better position. Nihal seems to be really well prepared though, and he's blitzing out his moves. Uh, Nihal having more time than his opponent is not something you would say every game,
Mm-hmm.
but this time Nihal seems to have come with full motivation. I think he's really motivated to play his best. He seems clear with his opening strategy and idea, and he's quite good at these kind of positions with activity with the isolated pawn on d5.
I just pointed out that the pawns on d5, e6, f5 are one of the main reasons um, why it would be of choice here, because even though black is very solid, uh, if more pieces get exchanged, this weakness is probably going to be even more highlighted.
So, what do you think? Would it be in black's favor to exchange the light squared bishop, or would it be in white's favor?
The
Black's
dark,
favor, no? If black can exchange the light squared bishop, it would be a good thing, right? Even though the d5 pawn will become even weaker, but let's say we go something like f6, bishop f7, bishop h5, we manage something like this in the
Mhm.
future, not right now, then it is in our favor, right, to exchange that bishop.
I would think that
Uh,
it's, yeah, yes,
no, you go ahead, Harshit.
I think that it would be like with both pros and cons, because like in some way it will be good, but like on the other way you will have one less defender against both these pawns. Um, and I'm not sure if black wants to exchange the bishop on e6 at all.
So it's an exception to the general rule. Even though it's a terrible looking piece, it's doing a lot of work right now. It's protecting the d5 and f5 squares, and that's why it's useful. It's
What
not
do
a
you
bad.
think, Srinath?
I think the bishop is quite important for black on e6. It's kind of holding the position together. It looks like a big pawn, and it's the classic example of a bad bishop. But that said, it is doing that holding job. It is okay to. It doesn't mind looking bad, but enables the other pieces to play freely. So
Mhm.
I think it's a really important bishop.
Yeah, that's true. But it reminds me of something our friend Ashwin Jairam used to say. Whenever a piece like would end up like the bishop on e6, he would say, "Right now, what I would first do is point at the bishop and laugh, and then think of my move," which is a little bit unfortunate. Yeah, the
E3,
bishop
huge move, huge,
is
big,
e3.
very big change of the character of the position, I think. Because usually you would not like to, you know, open the bishops. But wow, they're playing very quickly here.
Yeah, and I can't help but point out that the evaluation bar almost went from +1 to 0.1 as soon as b3 appeared on the board.
Mm-hmm.
But the computer doesn't like rook into c4 either. B takes c4, it probably wanted to take with recapture with the pawn here. But I think Nihal kind of refrained from it because it's not as easy to advance the c pawn anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And also, this might give the white rook potential to attack the d5 pawn from a5.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe rook a5 and put pressure here. Mm-hmm. So he took
Rook
with the
takes
rook,
c. Yeah, Nihal's super confident out there.
and he's playing
It makes
very
sense,
quickly.
to take with the rook and then you double on the c file, no? Like, nahi kya?
Yeah. You double on the c file, you try to advance the b pawn. Meanwhile, chat, a quick reminder, the next diamond membership giveaway at 100 likes. So do smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And let's go. Let's bring in more support for Nihal and your favorite player in this championship today.
And look at his time advantage, guys. We didn't pay attention. 6 minutes versus 12 minutes. So that's a huge time advantage in a format like this.
Absolutely, and totally unexpected from Nihal, as Srinath pointed out. So wonderful time management there. And yeah, it looks like Nihal got exactly what he wanted in this game.
Definitely, I think that he's managed to at least complicate the thing, but he still has to be a little careful, in my opinion, because all these pawns on b5, d5, and f5 are still subject to, uh, a lot of pressure from the light squared bishop, and he still has to make sure that the bishop on e6 somehow or in some way, I don't know. I guess it's just doing a good job on e6, but looking at it on e6, it feels like it has to do a better job. But I guess it's doing its best.
I think what it's doing is it's allowing Black's other pieces to move freely because it's keeping all of Black's position defended. So other pieces are free to attack and be active. That's its function, I feel.
And rook before queen a2. Now rook a4 is one option suggested.
Yeah, it looks very good, no? After rook a4, pawn into a4, we also get a3 in. We can go for
But
d8.
d5 is hanging, no? Can't white just take the d5 pawn here?
Right now,
Yeah.
queen b5? Ah, no, sorry, bishop e6. Right. e2 is supported.
But maybe the a pawn is so strong that you don't care about this. Yeah, just play a3 maybe.
Wow, this is, I think, if Nihal does this, I would be very, very impressed, because to assess that this position is very good for black with the strong pawn on a3, gives black good compensation, I think is not so easy to find, honestly. But I wouldn't be surprised if Nihal finds it.
Yeah, it's a bold decision without the evaluation bar supporting your variation. If black doesn't get enough compensation, it could just be a losing position for black here. Something like d5, queen a1,
Yeah.
knight to d4.
Try to attack the f5 pawn. Yeah. So I think after queen a2, Nihal is still thinking. Rook a4 is one move that I actually don't even know, Srinath, if he's considering rook a4, to be very honest.
Yeah, but what else can he do? When he played rook b4, he must have anticipated queen a2.
Yeah.
Queen had to kind of go to a2. And
I
now
am
white threatens.
expecting a move like bishop c7, attacking the rook. And maybe then
That
rook
just
a4.
messes up black's coordination. Okay, then rook a4, yeah.
I also like rook 8 to c4. I mean, with the
I have
idea
a
to
feeling
play
that
rook
Nihal
a4.
must be considering rook a4 here.
Yeah, with the idea to play rook a4 next. So you play rook a7 now, is what I thought. And then we can go either bishop c7 or queen c8. But queen c8 also allows rook a8. So that's something he must be thinking about, I feel.
This position is getting very complicated very quickly, I think, because already, for example, queen c6,
Yeah.
a6, and
But
And it
how
seems
about
like
bishop
Nihal has played a move, yeah?
d7?
queen a2.
What happened?
Has he played rook a4?
I don't know because it's Ding's clock which is running. So he
Yes,
has
he
played
has
rook
played
a4.
rook a4. Wow.
Oh my
Genius.
god. Wow. This is so impressive, guys. To just give up a pawn on d5 and realize that this pawn on a3 is going to give you good compensation with your rook being on an open file. Wow. I actually think that Nihal is taking over. Bishop d5 played, and now a3, as we actually saw, was played. Bishop into e6 was played, and I think queen into e6 is kind of
Asking to be played, yeah?
asking to be played.
Although f into e6 is also not bad, no?
I just thought that queen e6, idea queen e4, and trying to get control of the light squares as well as the c2 square might be something that you would be looking forward to.
Right. And has white played bishop takes e6?
Yes, bishop e6, queen e6, d5, queen e4, knight d4 very quickly played, and Nihal played rook b8. Wow, wow,
Rook
guys,
B8.
wow,
Wow.
Nihal
Like
is
that
with
is
the upper hand now.
C2.
Nihal is much better now because the rook is coming to the seventh rank. The pawn is almost going to queen, and white's king is all of a sudden very vulnerable. This is going to be
Yeah,
very
and you
difficult.
can clearly see some discomfort expressed by Ding there, no?
Mhm.
He doesn't
Like,
seem that happy with his position. And it's also an incredibly difficult position to find something for white here.
yeah, I think Nihal has just played so confidently in this game. He has gone for all the strategically better options, and giving up this pawn, as you mentioned, Harshit, was not at all an easy decision. But
This
it
is
seems like that is what he
incredible.
was thinking about. The long thing that he took after rook b4, queen a2 was for rook a4. So I mean, it shows that a player is in form. When he is ready to go for these kind of exchanges so confidently and quickly.
Mhm. No, this is extremely surprising because he's playing with the black pieces here, and many of the players would have tried to play something solid and something which just tries to hold. But he went for the complications, and he's much better now. Knight b3 was played by Ding, but does not that allow
Knight
There's Queen
b4.
e1 check.
Knight
Queen
b3?
c4, there's
Bishop,
Queen e1 check.
Yeah,
how is bishop e5 here?
bishop e5.
No, a3. Yeah,
Sorry,
but
a3.
I wouldn't give up the a3. Although
A3.
No,
there
but
is
queen
still Queen
c2,
c2.
no?
There is
Exactly.
still Queen c2.
Bishop e5, queen a3, queen c2 is the problem.
I somehow don't think that you would like to.
Give up the a3 pawn, right?
Or
Or
even
do you
allow moves like d6.
or do you want to play king g8? Just get out of the check and play queen c4 next. Maybe king
King g8
g6 even.
looks
King
very
g6
uncomfortable.
even, yeah? Okay. He has gone for queen c4, queen a1, and king g6.
Nihal just stretching his hand, yeah? It's just like,
Oh God! Wow.
Yeah, he looks very confident. I mean, when you're in the zone now, you're not really bothered about whom you're playing and what is like the match situation, all of these things. The moves just come to you.
And
And
the
I feel
pawns
he's
on h7, f7, f5 are now like a very nice blockade or like a shelter for the blacks.
uh,
Black king has found
yeah.
solace on g6.
Nihal has shown incredible amount of confidence so far. And it's not something you again see from Nihal every game, every match, which makes it even more impressive that he has come out against Ding like this.
Yeah, I'm very surprised to be to be very honestly expressing my views. Nihal, I thought, is going to play something very solid with black. Uh, try to make the match go to Armageddon because he's a bigger favorite as the time control goes shorter, or at least he gets better chances as the time control gets shorter against someone like Ting because Nihal has incredible amounts of experience online, as we all know. But he's just going for it with the black pieces, and that's very bold, and it seems to be paying off in this game with 2 minutes for Ding and the clock ticking down.
Yeah, and a2 is incoming next move for black. After a2, the bishop can go to e5, the rook can come to b1. It's all happening so fast. White just has no time to organize counterplay against black's king. Maybe knight d2 is an option. Just attack the queen and try and open up some lines against the black king.
Mhm.
but then doesn't the rook get tied down to d1 now? Even queen c2 or queen e2 is possible, both the moves.
Queen c2, I
Queen,
thought was very logical.
yeah, now knight f3.
So
The
you're
idea of
trying
knight
to,
h4 check.
create some chances against the king, yeah?
And rook b2
Yeah,
now?
Rook
Rook
b2.
b2? I
Rook
just
b2
blocked
shuts
the rook.
down everything.
Yeah,
B2 is such a sad move. It's like
queen f2.
I had an only ray of hope to get my queen on f6, and you just dimmed the curtains.
That's true.
Yeah.
So knight a5, but I thought of queen a4 here. Knight a5, queen a4, and I don't see a move for
Ah,
white because knight c6 runs into rook b2 again.
hmm, yeah, queen a4
So you
seems
just
like
attack the knight, and then next move you play rook b2 to shut down white's activity.
as soon as something like this, just rook b2 and queen c2 can also be an idea. Sometimes queen into d1, I wouldn't be surprised if I think queen d1 probably is a threat in this position. Idea a2, although
Yeah.
you have to be careful,
That's
but some ideas like this.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, queen d1 is a threat actually. So, I mean, king g2 might be the only move to prevent queen
Let's
d1.
see what is happening because they're both, playing kind of quickly. Queen e2 was played by Nihal. I like this move because he again wants to play rook b2 with similar ideas and trying to keep his queen near white's king, which is also a little vulnerable on g1.
And actually, rook e1 will run into queen e1 idea, same as Harshit
Ah,
pointed out.
nice. So rook e1, queen into e1, queen into e1, a2, and now black is threatening rook to b1 and pinning the king. So if king to g2, rook, still we have rook to b1 and black queen's next move. So lots of tricks for white to be careful of. But I think, did he play rook e1? What?
He did. Okay. So, Nihal, yeah, we are going to see it on the board.
Wow, wow, wow. Did he just miss this?
He missed it.
Uh,
But I don't think White had many options, Harshit. So, he had to take whatever chance he has.
That's true.
yeah.
Because, yeah, so rook e1 played.
Powerful performance by Nihal.
Yep. I mean, queen into e1 is asking for it. Let's see what Ding tried, what Ding saw here. Or maybe he just missed it. Queen e1, a2 actually, we have live on the board here.
I
And
think Ding has to resign.
I think Ding knows it. It's finito.
Wow. What a powerful game by Nihal.
Wow.
Fantastic
Superb
performance.
performance.
Beautiful.
Extremely
Actually,
impressive.
it's a
Wow.
model game for this line, I would say. He has handled the whole game so well. If someone wants to play this structure, they can actually study this game with black and try to understand what black needs to do.
No,
Yeah, chat. Nihal OP. A
wow.
powerful win in the first game with 5 minutes left on the clock, and Nihal doesn't even have 5 minutes remaining in most of his classical games. So
And
it's
it's a great answer to all of those voters who gave 78% or whatever to Ding.
Yeah.
Wonderful answer by Nihal. Beautiful. So, do we have Teimour versus Nepo going on as well, or is that game not yet started yet?
I don't know yet. I don't know yet.
I think they're playing, and guess what, guys? The underdogs, according to the fan favorites, are doing really well. I have to say I'm not surprised, but I guess the 96% of the voters would be.
We are in the remaining 4%. We and our chess.com India chat is definitely in the remaining 4%.
And
That I can guarantee.
and black is just threatening mate. I mean, kind of mate now. Like a random move like a4 would. Oh, he played rook c3 because just to say that a4, bishop d4, and if not for rook f2, then your king is getting almost checkmated. So Nepomniachtchi took, and yeah, it looks
Absolutely.
very bad.
Nepomniachtchi took what?
He took on c3,
Ah, okay.
rook d1, and black is a piece up. Although white has a few pawns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He actually has 2 pawns, so I guess some sort of practical compensation, but I don't really see White surviving this.
Yeah, and what about the time? I mean, he has enough time as well, 4.5 minutes and versus 3.5. So
Mm-hmm.
looks very comfortable.
Yep. And this, if this b5 pawn was on c4, I would say that, at least the pawns are connected, and at least that would give some practical chances for the white pieces. If the b5 pawn was here, so that, it would all be connected. But now I think that this pawn is also kind of vulnerable. I don't really see white defending. King f8, wow. Another kind of impressive move by black, trying to get rook e8. And one would wonder what happens after a move like rook e1. And
Just
Queen
G6.
f6 or Queen d4 check and Queen f6, both are fine.
Very interesting. Queen to f6, protecting the eastern square. Rook d8 next, and it's just
Yeah, I guess Teimour is going to get this one. So with this, we'll have two winners, I believe. One will be Nihal and the second will be Teimour in round 1 of this match, and we'll see if their opponents fight back and get back in round 2. Meanwhile, Srinath has to leave, but thank you so much, Sri, for joining us. It was such a pleasant surprise. Neither me nor Harshit nor our producer had any idea that Srinath was joining us today. It was such a pleasant surprise to see you in the call and get your insights. Thank you so much, Srinath.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Be alongside Srinath and get the good energy for this match. And I think we are very well set for this match with Srinath. Good luck coming in.
Definitely.
Thank you so much, guys. Such a lovely time to leave with Nihal playing such a powerful game, and I really hope he makes it to the round of 8. Thank you so much, and see you guys.
See you.
Okay. So with this, we'll go into a break shortly and we'll be back. So please stay with us, chat, and we'll be back soon for the second game of the match. See you soon. guys, welcome back. So it's me, Soumya, with Harshit here. Uh, Welcome back to our broadcast. And Teimour has won, and as someone pointed out in the chat, Niranjit pointed out that both the black players actually won the first round, Harshit. So black
Wow.
doesn't seem to matter much in today's games.
Actually, very surprising because at the very top level, one move matters a lot, and with the black pieces, they usually try to equalize. But actually, even psychologically, it happens sometimes that with the white pieces, you feel kind of obligated to try to play for a win, even in positions which are equal, and that might sometimes lead to black taking the upper hand. And we saw here uh, Teimour and Nihal both winning with the black pieces. So uh, they must be feeling under pressure here, Nepomniachtchi and Liren, to be wanting to strike back.
Yeah, definitely. And comfortable wins by both of them, actually. They were dominating throughout the games. And but Ding and Nepo, of course, both of them are such world-class players, so we can definitely expect them to fight back and try and equalize the score. Um, what do you think? Do you think they will go for something aggressive with black, or do you think they'll remain solid and try again in the remaining white game?
So I don't know how usually these players prepare, but I feel like they might be, kind of thinking what happens situation wise. So, for example, if they know that they're going to be down one game in the match, how would they change their openings regarding to this? And if like I don't know if they have something like this, because if they do, then for example, Nepo might play the Sicilian instead of playing the Berlin.
And that makes a lot of sense. I think I have a feeling that they simply have all these arsenals in their repertoire already. Like maybe not for this particular match, but they already have arsenals. Like, okay, this is what I play if I'm in a must win, while they go through their general preparation.
Mm-hmm.
So they might switch. By the way, Harshit, while we are on a break, it is time for us to ask the first question of the day for the Diamond membership. And since Harshit is with us today, I wanted to ask a question on Harshit. Chat, let us know which is the tournament in which Harshit became a grandmaster.
Wow.
Of course, it's quite recent. I will give you a hint. It's quite recent, but you have to tell us the year as well as the tournament. So let's go, chat. Let's see what are your answers. I think they are busy Googling.
But I have to say, Soumya, getting back to this Nihal's performance, I'm so impressed by this performance. The idea of Rook C4 and Rook A4 that was played here by Nihal. This move, especially Rook A4, is so difficult to make. I don't even know if I would like. I'm not even sure if I would like consider it, because it just gives up a pawn, and it takes quite some time for someone to understand that after bishop e6 queen e6, this pawn on a3 is actually very strong, and black has very good compensation as um, the rook also tries to get in. We saw how Nihal played rook to b8, extremely powerful move, trying to get into the b2 square, and this was a very strong display of performance by Nihal.
Definitely. And even if we have time, I think we do have some time. So maybe we can also have a look at Teimour's game
Mm-hmm.
quickly, because we completely missed that. By the time we reached their game, Teimour was already winning. So if we could quickly have a look at
Yes.
how their game went
So
from the beginning.
it started with the Nimzo Indian, to our surprise, because we know Radjabov as the King's Indian expert. He goes for something solid this time. Nimzo Indian F3. So Jan wanted to play a complicated line e4 castles. Bishop to f4 seems like the new move here. And bishop d3 so like a complicated game, but black always seems to be under control here. I'm very
Yeah,
surprised by this move, bishop f4, Swami. I've never seen this.
yeah, it felt like Black got everything he wanted. I saw the game actually,
Mm-hmm.
and it felt as if Black simply got everything he wanted. White did not manage to create any problems at all. Maybe White was simply a little sleepy and did not prepare much for the game and just
Wow,
turned
look
up.
at this move, Soumya. b5. Wow, this is a powerful move.
And
Opening
also
up,
very typical, no, for these
very
kind of
typical.
structures.
So this knight is of course pinned to this, and if you take this, allows opportunities like d5, c4 breaks, just opening up the positions because you have two bishops. And actually, after cb5, c4, this bishop can also come to c5 sometimes. And he goes for the d5. Very typical break in the center. And just look at these two bishops. I mean, this bishop is controlling this. This knight is pinned, and rook e5 again, not letting white any time to breathe because king castles, I think, as Nepomniachtchi played, ran into something which we missed because they are now playing the new game. Teimour with the white pieces, knight f3, d5, d4. Soumya.
Yeah, I think Teimour is yeah, this is a QGD. Yeah, actually Teimour plays this very often, so we have a Tarash now. But before we can discuss the game further, I have to announce the diamond membership winners. A lot of them got it right. So Himanshu Bisht rightly points out that Harshit became a grandmaster in DL Masters 2021, and Brinal Shah also got it right. So here, Harshit, we just go on a random, like it's more of a lucky draw rather than first who gives the answer first. So I think we will go with Himanshu and Brinal. Both of them will get a diamond membership for the right answer. Congratulations to both of you. Please do contact Rakesh and claim your diamond membership from chess.com and play a lot of Puzzle Rush and win a lot of games. Um, Harshit, wonderful memory for you, no? PL Masters,
It
you're
was,
Grandmaster now.
yeah. It's such a nice memory that I would actually like for more and more people from India to have that memory and become a grandmaster because that's something truly special. Um, and I am actually hoping deep down for you to have such a memory and become a grandmaster.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you, Harshit. Yeah, I remember I called you and after you won the after you made the norm and you told me that even before the tournament started you had a feeling that this is going to be the tournament where you are going to get it, and your games were also so beautiful, everything was just flowing, it seems.
Yeah. It the, sometimes you just everything works for you, and it was one of the events where just everything was working for me. I think a lot of things have to go right in order for that to happen. For example, as we saw Nihal's game today, it seemed like everything was just flowing for him. But I'm sure that, for example, he's analyzed these kind of structures which we saw where his pawns were on d5 and f5 and his bishop was on e6. I'm pretty sure he has a lot of experience in that and a lot of practice. So even in order to play like a one good game against a player like Ding Liren, there is so much story to it.
Yeah, definitely, because you deserved it for a really long time and it uh, came finally. Actually, the pandemic delayed it, I would say. It would have come earlier otherwise. But yeah, as you mentioned, a lot of things need to go your way for things to fall in place. And it's a little bit about the mindset also, I guess.
It's uh, chess is so much about psychology. I feel as if at least uh, I feel many of the times that most of the grandmasters are around the same level in chess, but the psychology kind of changes how they play during tournaments. Meanwhile, we see that Radjabov is playing something very solid because he's already up a point. Uh, has Nihal started his game? And he, I think, has. Maybe we can quickly jump into that game. I think he's not yet
No,
starting soon.
it will be starting soon. This is the QGA endgame, but you know, Harshit, these endgames, as we have seen, are very typical for QGA, and they look harmless. But then, because the structure is symmetrical, but there are always a lot of ideas for both sides. So it's not a, even though it's an equal position, I think both sides can try in this endgame. And um, yeah, I mean, for example, if white
Wow,
or
wow. If knight e5, something like rook d6 can be a move. That
what?
is
Knight into
red.
f3 and
Bishop into
bishop into f3. Nice. And the
wow,
bishop on b7 is hanging.
wow. So
So did he
wow.
play knight e5 or
Nope, he has not yet played. Rook f d1, rook d7 has been played. Um, here.
for example, let's imagine the knight was on b3 instead of c3. Then the
Yeah.
knight could go to c5. And there are always all these options, for both the sides to maneuver their pieces to the right squares.
Mm-hmm.
Even a break like e4 at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, right now it's completely harmless, the position for either side, and we have to see what plans they'll go for. Um, oh,
And
Nihal's
Nihal,
game has
has game
started.
has started, and he plays this move d4, knight f3, d5, c3, which is actually kind of getting a lot of popularity with the white side here. And the main reason why white does this is they are trying to play the Slav defense with a move up. So if black goes c5 here, d into c5, and white would just get a much better version of the Slav defense. And I've seen a lot of players do this recently. E6, bishop to f4. Guess what? We're back into the London system. C5, E3, Queen B6, Queen B3, Bishop D7. As actually, Soumya Srinath mentioned that we are going to see at least one London system.
Yeah, he did. And we have it on the board by a design. It's actually not by design. He could have gone for something else, but we have the London on the board.
Actually, Soumya, I think that he kind of slightly maybe like played with the move order here because Liren already thought for a minute and a few seconds here, and I'm not sure if he would have gone for the same setup if White started with Bishop f4 directly.
Ah. No, but
So
even there, I guess you go for the c5, knight c6 as he played. Na? Acha, he
you don't have
avoids
to
the
commit
bishop
e6
f5 setup.
and Bishop g4.
Acha.
So with the pawn committed on e6, you no longer have the option of putting the bishop on f5 or g4, which you would normally consider in something like London. So some interesting move order nuances maybe uh, by Nihal. Um, Castle knight e5 is on the board. This is the position we have.
Nihal looks very confident today. You know, Harshit, I have been commentating on his matches from round one.
Mm-hmm.
So this is already round three now. You know, he qualified from 64, then 32, and now 16. This is the most confident I have seen him.
Mm-hmm.
He looks so much in command and he's so relaxed. Actually, that is very important. Otherwise, players are always like this and this, they're like under so much pressure. But Nihal is, I think, very much comfortable. And
That's a very nice point you make. I always feel that when someone is like having a good time and like just like they just play as if they are playing in practice, they play their best chess as compared to when they're trying their best to make the best moves is when actually you miss a lot. That's what I've always felt.
Yeah, it's very true. And I actually was reading a book on sports psychology, and that also says the same, that in order to perform well at the Olympics, you have to forget that it's the Olympics.
Yeah.
Which is the hardest thing to do, but that is what is going to help you, because otherwise, what happens is actually there's a psychology behind it, that when something is very important to you, you focus even more than necessary. And if a beginner does it, then it helps him. But when an expert does it, it actually harms him, because you focus less on your intuition, you use less of your intuition and more on something which is calculative. And
Mhm.
actually, your intuition is so well developed by the time you are an expert that you must trust it in order to play your best game.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it was an interesting
Yeah, very
psychoanalysis that I read
interesting.
about.
Yeah.
And I can see that happening with Nihal right now. So,
Yeah, he's playing very well. I think even this position, I think it's a very solid opening so far. I don't think he's and either white or black has anything to complain from the outcome from this opening. White is very, very solid here. Although white has to be a little careful because black can always play this move c4 and gain a spatial advantage, because if you ever take b5, you always have to be a little passive, although white can stop this break. um, I always think that with more space, black might, you know, take over. But c4, you can always just play a move like queen c2 and then go for b3. And knight e4 was actually chosen by Ding here. Maybe.
knight e4 makes a lot of sense, no? Because you want
Yep.
to activate your pieces, and as you pointed out, f6.
Mhm.
And also, the knight is probably better on d6 than on f6. So,
Yep. And I don't even think that you want to go on d6. You are just waiting to see how white wants to. Like, if white ever plays f3, then yeah, then I would happily go on d6 because the e3 pawn is weak. But if you don't, then my knight is doing great. Knight f3 played. That's a little bit surprising.
knight f3. Yeah,
Maybe anticipating.
expected.
That's very surprising. But I guess he just wants to go knight d2 and trade off. I'm not sure what his idea is. So
But
c4, queen c2 played.
so he wants what? Sorry,
Oh,
no, I think there was a glitch, I guess. What is the game? Knight e4 or c4?
knight f3, knight d6. Wow.
Acha.
But knight f3 is very surprising to me. And knight d6. What are these?
No, knight d6 is logical because he wants to go f6 and bring his bishop to h5.
Mhm.
Yeah, but you might say, why do you need to go knight d6 for that? You can do it directly.
Yeah, and also like as I was mentioning, this move
Uh,
c4, that if you ever take, I'm going to like my kind of space advantage f6 g5. I have all the cards right now, and I was actually expecting black to go here. He chose the move knight d6. Maybe does he want to? I'm trying to make sense of this move. Maybe he wants to go bishop b5, but that doesn't really work because there's going to be bishop d6.
so what was the idea of knight f3? Can we maybe think
Knight
about
d2. That's
knight
what
d?
he played. Yeah.
So
I
that's why he just went knight d6 as a prophylaxis, I guess.
Yes. So they reached this kind of. So the knights were both on e5 and e4, and now they're on d6 and d2.
Yeah,
They're playing some funny
dancing
game.
knights.
But yeah,
Uh,
I think that if black does not do anything like drastic, it's going to be very difficult for black to create any winning chances because White does not really have any weakness here. Very solid pawn structure. The pieces are not the best placed, but they're very uh, they're kind of uh, coordinating by themselves. And Queen A5 played by Ding. Idea is to, of course, play Bishop A4 and uh, attack the Queen and the Rook. So A4 makes the most sense, stopping Bishop A4 and maybe wanting to go DC5 at some point.
Yeah. Queen F5 Pati trap, yeah? Like if you're distracted, oops.
It's like when you're playing games with your friend and you make this sneaky move and then you're like, pata na lag jaye.
Oh God. Yeah. So yeah, A4 makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, or actually DC5 also makes some sense because after Queen C5, you you get this Bishop D3, maybe even Bishop E5, Bishop D4, or E4 break.
But now won't I get F6 and E5 if you exchange the D pawn with the C pawn?
F6, you might run into E4. I have a feeling, um, because this pawn on E6 is kind of being under. So if your bishop was on already in F7, I think Black would be extremely happy with how everything is going. And we have a news that Radjabov declined a draw offer with the white pieces.
Probably didn't notice. Why would he? Ah, okay.
Maybe he
Maybe
still
he
feels that. Maybe we can check that game after some time quickly. A4 in the meanwhile was played by Nihal, as we mentioned, to stop Bishop A4. A6 play, and I'm surprised, a little surprised by how Black is handling this.
Do you think the point is that he wanted White to commit something in the queen side? Because pawn structure White, it seems as if it's Black's territory to play in the queen side, and White wants to play either in the king side or in the center.
That is a very good. That might very well be the reason. Also because he wants to create some sort of an imbalance of a pawn structure. Like if he just exchanges the queens on B3, how is he ever going to create anything? So maybe he thought that he should create some he should kind of imbalance in some way to like commit A4. Although I'm not sure in whose favor that goes to, because for example, a move like, I don't know what White wants to do, like, because a move like Queen E3, although looks tempting, you're always running into this pin of the bishop, which seems a little illogical to me. But on the other hand, Black can never take on D4 because you threaten the D6 knight. He chose the more pragmatic approach and went Queen to C2, which I would very well endorse. Because if you take, he wants to take with the E pawn, and after Bishop D3, Knight F3, White has very, 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 very good position, and the Queen on A5 kind of seems misplaced to me.
Yeah, actually, I don't know how. I think he wants to play C4 only because CDED looks optically at least looks better for White only.
He did it though.
He took on CD.
He took CDED and went Queen D8. But I agree with you that I don't think that White would be unhappy with how things have gone in this game.
Yeah.
Although one thing which White needs to be careful of is this B5 B4 break, as we say, because I don't know the terminology of this, but whenever white has this b2 c3 and black has this a6 b7 structure, this happens a lot in the Carlsbad structure, that black tries to undermine these b2 c3 pawn structures with this break of b5 b4.
Yeah, it's a minority attack. It
Minority
was
attack, yeah.
first introduced by Capablanca in a lot
Mm.
of his games, and yeah, it's a very effective idea. Usually works very well. Yeah, nice idea. By the way, Teimour seems to be better against Nepo. Do you want to quickly
Yeah,
have a look at that game?
I'll quickly bring that game up, and wow, he is, maybe we can quickly see what happened from here, because as you mentioned that this positions can quickly get out of control.
Hmm.
b4 b5, some very interesting.
So this looks very equalish, but the problem is white is a move up,
Yep. And
half a
also,
move ahead.
yeah. Also this king, even though is more active, at least towards the center, it always runs into some kind of tricks like knight e5, and if king e7 you also have to be worried about rook b4 bishop a3, knight d5 e4 kind of stuff. So I think that maybe Jan misjudged how dangerous it could get, because after knight c6 actually he just missed that knight e5 check, and you cannot protect both f7 and c6. So
Yeah, I mean, he's just a pawn up, but it's not easy to convert it for sure. Like, for example, in
I
the end,
would I
you
would think that Teimour should convert this, especially because the pawn is on e6. I I don't see how white black defends this.
also Teimour is very good in technique. I
Hmm.
feel it is definitely one of his strengths as a player. He's excellent at converting small advantages in
And
the
this
end,
is a huge advantage.
and this is a huge advantage.
And also look at the time, Soumya. It's 8 minutes 20 seconds compared to 2 minutes 40 seconds, which will, in fact, probably play a big role um, in this game. I like this f3 e4 a lot. I love this idea. Get some space for your king, and make sure that the pawn on e6 never really goes anywhere. I think this is going. I don't want to go as far as saying like this is, but I mean I would like to, but I don't know if it is already like mathematically winning.
What do you think, Chad? What do you think is going to happen in this game? Do you think Teimour is going to take the lead with 2-0, or Nepo will manage to hold this? Teimour will still be in the lead, but it will be a smaller lead. Um, Harshit thinks Raja is going to convert this. I feel Nepo has a chance to still sort of make a draw. By the way, here e4 is a threat. E4, e5 is a
Yeah.
threat. So
Also,
टैक्टिक्स
I'm a
खत्म
little
नहीं हुई है गेम में एंड गेम आ गई पर टैक्टिक्स फिर भी चल रही है
I'm also a little biased with Raja.
you were his teammate in CSL.
Yes, I was his teammate in CSL, and also because we have something in common, which is the name Raja.
Of course.
But yeah, he goes for this f3 4 as we were pointing out, and it's going to be very very difficult for black to save this. Bishop c4 is going to come in. Let's quickly go back to the Nihal's game, see what progress has happened there.
Definitely.
And we see a lot. We see that a bishop has been exchanged. So what happened here? Queen. We left it at queen d8. Bishop d3 played. g6, a5. Lots normal moves. Bishop b5. And now Nihal decided to take on d6. Bishop d6. Bishop. And the point is that if you cannot really take on b5. Wow. because AB5, B4, which would be very good if White had his queen on D3, but now runs into bishop into B4. And your queen is kind of pinned by the rook. So bishop D6, nice kind of thing spotted by Ding here. Knight F3, bishop E8, queen D2, king G7, rook E1, B6, AB6, queen B6, and we have the live position on the board. Um, what do you think, Soumya?
I actually think it's completely fine, but it's just that Black has a pair of bishops, so long term, if he manages to, keep his king safe,
Mm-hmm.
uh, he has some extra chances in this game. Let's say he brings the pawn to a4 and uh, puts some pressure on b2, because the bishop on e8 is actually wonderful. It does a great job of defending the king,
Mm-hmm.
as well as protecting the a4 pawn, and it's the best place for the bishop in this
Mm-hmm.
position. But only thing is his king is a little vulnerable, so I feel white
And
could create something.
and in this game, Soumya, Nihal's time is much lesser than his opponent. Yes,
Uh,
4 minutes compared to Ding's 7.5 minutes.
by the
So
way, is he threatening bishop g6 right now?
wow, that's so. If let's try to make a move like A5, can White take?
Because king g6 runs into knight e6 and queen g5.
I think it's a very strong possibility. King G6 probably just runs into Queen D3 and some
Queen
danger on the, yeah, some danger on the, and if FG6, uh,
knight e6, rook e6, both look good, yeah. Like
yeah,
it looks like good compensation,
it,
and yeah,
it does
invisible
look
lightning,
scary.
but
It
it
does look
looks so
scary.
scary. Yeah, exactly.
One thing which might help Black is this move Rook A7, trying to bring this Rook into the defense, and he might be able to survive. I think this might be a strong defensive resource.
Uh,
H4, H5, Knight G5. A5 was actually played, funnily enough.
so he is tempting. This is probably also, it also
Wow.
works out in his favor. Now, if Nihal takes some chances, he's also risking something.
Yep.
So,
I like this position for White here because he has a lot of attacking potential for a rapid game with Rook A1 and Knight into E6, and you just sacrifice a piece and let Black defend. And with such less time on the clock, it's very difficult to defend this kind of attacks, which might even objectively be good here because you have so many pieces here. All of the pieces looking at the king side after the White's last piece on A1 comes into the game. Rook A7, as we were discussing, could be an important resource. Rook A1, Rook E7 played.
Rook A7, Rook E7 is a nice resource. You also showed it, and actually, the bishop on e8 is and the rook on e7 both do a great job of defending their king. But
Mm-hmm.
still, it's the kind
And
of position where white can play intuitively while black has to calculate.
yeah, and this is a very interesting idea, which I actually didn't see myself. That you mentioned, if FG6, something like Knight E6, I think it leads to some very interesting positions after. Um, Even a
So
move like
g5, no?
I would like
Queen
queen. I
g5.
would like queen G5 to work, but bishop is
Oops.
bishop H2 is spoiling
Oops.
the party.
So move like g3 would be useful preparation.
Yes, that's, and guess what he played?
G3.
G3. After seeing all of that, he decided to go G3.
No, but Nihal is a very intuitive player, na? He automatically avoids all this bishop
Whoa,
h2 sacrifices in the
whoa!
beginning.
Bishop G6 was working now. He went Knight H3.
Arey,
Wait,
why? What did black play for g3?
A4.
So g3, a4, and here white could have actually played bishop g6, but
Yeah, like the line which we mentioned with queen
uh,
g5 coming in.
hmm.
Bec- he played knight h3 though. Excuse me. Um,
Keeping it solid, white wants to basically get in queen g5, I guess. He wants to go knight f4, queen g5. I mean, sorry, queen g5 and knight f4 and these kind of ideas.
I think he just did not like even though you saw this idea, I think it's not such an easy idea to spot, honestly. Um, but yeah, if he spotted this, I think Ding would have been in big trouble. But we have some more moves. Knight h3, a3 was played. Nihal took, and he's under definitely some pressure here with the c pawn being weak. And the knight, not really sure um, is how he wants to remaneuver it, because now queen a5 immediately threatens the pawn on c3 and he's running low on time. Let's see if he manages to find some tricks here, Soumya. I like
Yeah,
this knight f4 to threaten something like knight h5. This is such a Nihal move.
yeah, knight f4 makes sense. Knight f4, if black takes bishop f4, then we have queen f4. And if black takes queen c3, how do we?
Yeah, it's not so easy, I think, because bishop f4, queen f4, queen.
C3 and rook c2 we have. Sorry, E1 is hanging, so we
Mhm.
can't play rook c2 here. Maybe queen e5 and rook c2.
Yeah, queen e5 and rook c2 is a nice resource here. bc3, queen e5, knight f4 played. Knight f4 played, and bishop f4 seems like the only move here, because otherwise he has a lot of sacrificing possibilities here. Everything is something which black would need to consider before making any move which is not bishop into f4.
Yeah, I think bishop f4 is a very natural move here. So bishop f4, queen f4.
Let's hope he does not take though. Take on c3, free pawn. He took. He took. Let's
He took on c3.
go. Let's go.
What? What a epic blunder!
You just have to ask for it, Soumya.
Oh my god, the secret in live action right now. Oh my god, this is amazing. What a turnaround. And gh5 runs into
And
queen
it's
h5.
like
It's checkmate.
G5 is just checkmate. I mean, king
It's
f8,
just
queen
checkmate. King
f6,
f8, queen h6, king g8, bishop h7.
and
How
you
are you
do this.
defending this?
Tick, tick.
Oh my god, what
Wow.
just happened there? Oh, Ding Liren nodding his head there. Oh my god, he's in such agony right now.
Like, that was so funny. What
That
happened?
was funny. One man's tragedy is another man's comedy, Harshit.
That's true. In
Very
everything.
funny for you and me, but not at all funny for Ding. He's so upset right now. Just look at his face. And Nihal, so focused. Nihal can't believe his luck.
I hope Nihal does not agree to a draw. I think he just gained some time. He has to play
Yeah.
here with queen e3 because his attack is overwhelming.
Yeah, it's a fantastic position. Queen e3 is also
Queen
the
e3
only
played.
move, no? Because
Yeah, it's
any
the
other
only.
move would lose the bishop.
Yeah, queen
So,
e3 played. I'm just surprised that he took some time there, but I think rook c2 is a threat now. So I think it's just very close to being finito. Soumya, 2-0 incoming. We might we might see ourselves a 3-0 here, or a two
this
and a
is
half half. It doesn't matter because the one oh, knight f6, knight d5, because knight d5, ed4, oh, knight g4.
knight
Wow.
g4 and queen h6 and knight f6. He wants to give checkmate.
He is like, I will checkmate you. Bang bang.
This is just fantastic because I have just checked that Teimour has also won his game against Nepo. So Teimour leading 2-0 and Nihal will also definitely get this game in and be leading the match
You
2-0
know
in the
whom I feel bad for, Soumya?
I know, but I want you to tell me
The
what do you
96% of the people who rooted for Nepo.
They are definitely very bad at making predictions. Let's just put it that way.
They
Oh
should
God.
definitely not go into sports betting at any time in their near future. And rook e6, d into e5 played, and as we mentioned, rook c2. The idea which is going to take the rook on c8 is probably going to decide the game. Wow, 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 wow! Being under pressure there, he made this tricky move, knight f4, and some in rapid and blitz. This is all it takes. One mistake, one missed tactic, and it's that's game over. And we see that Ding realizes that it's 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 nowhere to go now, and the game is sealed for Nihal. The only thing he has to be slightly careful about, I mean, I would be slightly careful about is that white is 20 seconds. But then I see the name Nihal Sarin and I'm like, okay, for him it's an eternity. So
Yeah, we have been raving about how good Nihal is when the he comes down to under 10 seconds. So here he on
he has
at
to play
least
rook c2.
20.
Yeah, he does play rook c2. Okay, now we can be assured. A knight f6 is probably good enough, but queen h6 is just mate. Yeah, queen
Yeah.
h6 followed by knight f6.
Knight f6, take, you give up the rook, but there is
That's a
no
very
way.
nice line actually. Bishop f6, ef6, rook e1, king g2, and
To,
uh, the
no
mate
way
on
to
g2.
revenge
And
on
knight
himself.
f6 has been played. Soumya, this has been an amazing, amazing performance. Wow. And I think Ding might even allow checkmate on the board simply because of how well Nihal has played this 11 and a half seconds here, and he resigned. So Nihal takes a 2-0 victory over Ding
Fantastic.
Liren. Wow.
What a fantastic result. What a fantastic display over here. And Harshit Raja OP. I mean, you predicted it. You called it, Harshit. I did not believe that Ding was going to take on C3, but you went for it and Ding heard you, and that was
I
the blunder that lost the game for him. But Nihal actually controlled the game really well. He was at no point worse, and he created all these ideas for himself. With the knight maneuver to g5, then to h3 and f4. Um, yeah, I think he played fantastic in this
This
game as
knight
well.
f4, I think, was the turning point of the game here, um, where Black had to take this knight to stop all these kind of sacrifices as we were looking. Queen, and after queen into f4, he would still be around equal and complicated. But Ding missed this idea of knight into h5, and after this, it was just one-way traffic.
One-way traffic. Nice way to put it. Chris Keynes puts it very nicely as well. He says Nihal is the most dangerous when he's under 2 minutes. Opposition player thinks he has a chance, and then the game switches.
That's so bad. It's
But
like
as you mentioned, Harshit, chess is psychology, and I think this does play a role. Him getting a little bit under in time, and the opponent probably thinks now he has the chance. Now he has the chance to
yeah.
probably go for some tricks. And Nihal, you cannot trick Nihal when he's under time pressure. That's not going to
it's
happen.
like it's like buying a lottery ticket. If a number comes 16 and you had the number 40, like if you had the number 18, you think, oh, we are very close, so you buy it again, but you actually never win. Yeah. But yeah, this was
Virachal,
amazing, and Nihal just needs like half a point now. And I mean, all jokes apart, Ding Liren is probably one of the strongest players in chess right now.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
m- many thought of him as the best contender for the world championship match, and to have such a strong performance against him. And let's not forget that the winner plays the live finals in Toronto, Canada. Um, so winning this match is going to be giving Nihal a very, very big experience going to Canada to play the quarterfinals against one of the top oppositions in the world. I think his next opponent, if he manages to make half a point more, is going to be Levon Aronian.
Wow, fantastic. Of course, as you mentioned, Harshit, not easy still because Ding Liren, one of the best players in the world, he will try to fight back. He will try to equalize the match and take it to tie breaks. I'm looking forward to see how he fights back. You know, all of these players, they have so much resilience. They don't give up. They are always fighting. They have nerves of steel actually. तो मुझे बहुत ज्यादा उत्सुकता है ये देखने में कि नेपो और डिंग दोनों अभी इस मैच सिचुएशन को कैसे हैंडल करते हैं.
And we have seen people turn around such big deficits, because if you remember in the World Cup finals, Soumya, Swidler versus Karjakin was the same score, 2-0, if I'm not mistaken. And Swidler just needed half a point. And it's even there where the psychology plays such an important role, because हमें लगता है यार half a point चाहिए, क्यों win के लिए खेलना है. So you try to play for a draw, even in positions where you might, even in positions where you should not play for a draw, and then that might change, the outcome of the game.
And the momentum shifts to the player who is trailing
Yeah.
because now there is only one match left and all the pressure is on you. Yeah, very well pointed out. So basically इसका ये भी कंक्लूजन निकाल सकते हैं कि हमें अगर हम 2-0 लीड पे है अभी निहाल, तो थर्ड मैच भी उन्होंने ऐसी ही खेलनी चाहिए जैसे फर्स्ट मैच खेल रहे हैं. एंड ही शुड नॉट प्ले इट सेफ, राइट? जस्ट
Yeah.
प्ले like a normal game and that should be good enough. Hope
Nihal
that
should
that
just
is
be
good enough.
himself. Stretch before the game. Maybe
Yeah.
play some bullet before, during the breaks, or some ultra bullet, and that's how he should prepare for his game. Then he's good to go.
Do you think, Chad, do you think Nihal plays Ultra Bullet in between the games?
You
Because there is a 7-minute game gap between each
can
round.
get a lot of games.
What do you think, Chad? हमें बताइए. देखते हैं आप निहाल को कितनी अच्छी तरह जानते हैं. कपिल चौधरी का मैसेज बहुत फनी है पर मैं जोर से पढ़ूंगी नहीं. It reminds me of that Harry Potter episode, you know, where he has liquid luck.
Yeah.
And there was a funny meme I read. If Harry had liquid luck, then why didn't he drink it on the day he wanted to kill Voldemort? Which makes a lot of sense, but इतना कोई सोचता नहीं है. तो पर वैसे ही हो गया ना, मतलब आज आप जो भी प्रेडिक्ट कर रहे हो वो हो रहा है हर्षित. सो लेट्स प्रेडिक्ट गुड थिंग्स फॉर प्लेयर्स वी आर रूटिंग फॉर.
Maybe we can quickly see how actually Raja managed to finish
Definitely. Let's go for it.
Because so we, I think, left it somewhere here where white managed to get f3 e4, bishop c4, as we were mentioning, was played. H4, very interesting move, because it's definitely not like a small decision. So he wanted to fix the pawns. Maybe g4 is something that he has in his mind. Bishop f7, knight e5, bishop e8, king f2, g5, takes. And now again you see that there are two weaknesses, yeah, not just one. So in chess we've heard that, that one weakness is not enough and you need two. But it helps that when you're a pawn up, I think one weakness is also enough. But yeah, so even with such less, like, such concentrated pieces on the board, such less pieces on the board, um, it's going to be very difficult for black to defend his weaknesses.
Also, look at the time advantage Teimour
Yeah.
had over Nepo in this match. He has five, almost 6 minutes, and Nepo was like just playing on 1 minute.
Yep. That and in these rapid games, a time advantage of 5 minutes, I would say, is almost equivalent of like half a pawn or one pawn, because in important decisions you don't really have time to figure out what the best path is, and that would have definitely played a role in Nepomniachtchi's defense here. Bishop
Yeah.
c5, king f6. They
I feel
repeated
it's
one.
also an indication of whether the player is in form, how much time he takes for simple moves, for coming up with plans. Of course, long calculation के लिए सभी लोग थोड़ा time लेते हैं, पर जो short plans, maneuvering होता है, मुझे लगता है अगर आप वो डिसीजंस आप फास्ट ले पा रहे हो, उसका मतलब आप अच्छे फॉर्म में हो.
And look what happened, Soumya. Look what happened. Bishop h5, e5, g3, and
बिशप
his
ट्रैप हो गई. कमाल.
ये
You
क्या हो
mentioned ना 5 minutes equal to half a pawn, अभी 3 pawns हो गए.
गया?
Please.
No, but this is what happened. It's just so difficult to play. Already, I think here he made a blunder. I think e5. Oh, so it started from here. It was like a 2-3 move tactic. So we think that he blundered, but if you look at it deeply, it started from here. e5. Your knight is attacked. Now your bishop is attacked. Only move, and it's trapped.
Yeah,
Crazy.
very well played by Teimour. He was very alert and he took all of his chances.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, उनका गेम अभी जल्दी स्टार्ट होने वाला है, तो
Mhm.
we will get to see what Nepo has in store for Raja. How was your
Then
experience being in the same team as him, Harshit?
I
Did you
was so happy.
interact?
Yeah, we didn't interact so much, but like we used to have short team meetings before and after every day, or and before and after the tournament. And he's a very nice guy. He came across as someone very helpful and very kind. And I was very happy to have the opportunity to to be able to interact with him.
That's
So
super nice. Was he the captain of your team or someone else was the captain?
he was probably the I
The
don't know if we had
designator.
like I don't remember like exactly, but I mean at least in everyone's mind he was the captain of the team. I think that's
Yeah, definitely.
also we have some interesting facts here that no one has ever come down from a 2-0 deficit in the CGC ever. So this would be the first if it ever happens in any of these matches. And if Nihal draws this, then he is going to go to Canada, obviously, as we know, for the quarterfinals. So we have this game started, by the way. Soumya, Jan Nepomniachtchi versus Radjabov. Quickly, they started with an Italian defense.
I think Teimour is black, no?
Yes.
Yeah. Teimour is black and Nepo plays e4 in a must-win game. Um,
And Rookie one played. Have you ever played this line with either color, Soumya? Do you have any experience in this line?
I've never played. I have seen it a bit, but I've never faced it over the board. You have?
I've prepared this line a little bit with some players. This early d. So basically, you don't commit the move d6 and go for directly d5. And we actually have a very nice game in this line by Anish Giri against Hare
Another
Krishna.
fan favorite.
Yeah, against Hare Krishna. It's not it's maybe not very new, but at least when that game was played, it was considered to be a very nice game in terms of the opening battle. And I think Anish also beat Esipenko here with the black pieces. So I think Anish has a lot of experience and knowledge in this line. So if anyone wants to study this line, I think he would definitely be someone you can take a look of to follow his games. And knight b6, bishop g5, queen d6 has been played here.
Queen d6 with the idea to play bishop g4, I guess. And even, yeah, I guess white will play knight b d2, but the bishop on c4 is hanging. So first he needs to save it, no?
I was going to say that I'm not sure if I've ever seen this exact sequence of moves.
Can he
Mm,
play knight b d2 here? Because knight c4 runs into knight. Yeah, he has.
he
Because
has.
the e5 pawn was hanging.
Maybe
Uh,
we should talk slowly somewhere because they seem to be listening to all of what we are saying.
all of us. Let's just suggest bad moves for the play opponent of the player we are rooting for. That would be the best way with this situation. Um, yeah, Akshay Chaurasia was asking what's happened in Nihal's game. Nihal is leading 2-0 and we are waiting for the third game to begin.
Hmm.
So Queen G6 on the board. Um, Actually, if he moves the bishop now, he can move it to B3.
He did
But
move it to b3 because if you take on d3,
yeah,
um,
I I was wondering if we can play bishop c2 here, or should we take knight e5?
I actually like this move the most.
Knight e4. Okay.
Um, Queen d1, rook a d1. Just look at white pieces.
Menacing.
Yeah, no, this is even though the engine does not give it as a big advantage. I think this is extremely good for white. Just the rooks are both on open files. Bishop, this knight is active. I think you cannot really take this pawn.
Yeah, it's certainly very unpleasant. And how about bishop g4? Is that a move?
Yeah, that seems like a good way
Because
to deal
our
with things.
idea is queen into g5 now. So
Hmm.
white needs to probably play queen c2 and get out of the play.
Yeah. Can I ever go h6?
But h6 क्या purpose serve कर रहा है? Bishop h4 खेलेंगे हम. And you
So
want
now
to play
at least
bishop
we can never
f5.
move the. Sorry.
Sorry, yes. Tell me.
Now at least white has always careful about the spin.
But the bishop on the sorry, okay, Nihal's game has started.
Nihal
So
just
maybe we
started.
can discuss this.
Just actually
Then
one. I wanted to just say a few things in this game that bishop b3, h6 was played actually.
Mhm.
Bishop h4, bishop g4. So whatever we said has been played.
And you know the bishop on h4, it does such a fantastic job. Even though it seems as if it's not attacking anything, it's controlling the d8 square,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which is
huge actually because black's rook would love to come here.
uh, bishop being on c h4. Um, Such a good piece, doing a good job there. What did you want to say about the position, Harshit?
That if there is some, I think that I want to say that Nepomniachtchi would be very happy with the outcome of this game because there was no Berlin, there is no forced draw or anything like that, and he
Hmm.
gets to play a fighting position. And you take it one step at a time. If he manages to win this game, he's just one game away from equalizing. So I think that Nepomniachtchi would be very happy with the outcome of this game. So some work for Teimour to do here. Maybe we can quickly jump back to Nihal's game
Hmm.
as we saw it started, and it was a Queen's Gambit accepted. So Nihal playing something very very solid.
Solid, yes. And we actually saw QGA in the previous game where we thought I mean, as we were discussing, it looks very equal, but there are so many ideas for both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, but they haven't gone into the end game this time. In the previous game, Teimour versus Nepo, they entered the end game line, but here the queens are still on the board. Usually in this sort of setup, white gets e4, e5 very quickly, and it seems like he has a kingside attack, but black manages to defend, and he has this bishop on the b7 square, controlling that long diagonal,
Mm-hmm.
and he gets some play in the center. That's how the game goes. Um, let's
And I
see.
like that Nihal is kind of well prepared or playing confidently. I really like to see that. But it's funny that even with more time on the, like, he once won a game with like just completely dominating him throughout on the clock as well as on the board, and the other game he was not doing so well on the board and on the clock, but he still managed to win. So I don't know if the time ever plays a big role in Nihal's games.
No, but in the previous game, actually, Nihal was always creating some problems for Black, no? And that I think matters a lot in these fast time control games.
Mm-hmm.
Who is the one creating problems?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was Gary who once said that you should always keep posing problems on your opponent, because even if he sees nine tactics, he's going to miss one tactic, and then that's going to be enough for you to win the game. And Ding is on a big long thing here. Already spent more than 3 minutes.
So B6 was the last move. He probably expected B5, and that is why he's a little surprised that Nihal goes for B6, doesn't commit too much on the queen side. Now he has the option of going A3, B4 himself, actually.
Mhm. I think Nihal didn't want to go B5 as we saw in the last game of Radjabov, because it was directly put under
Higher.
pressure by A4.
Hmm.
And if you ever go B4, then you lose control of the C4 square, which would be taken control of by the knight. So I like this move B6 actually, but what I don't like is how Ding is thinking for 4 minutes here. That's a If you think about it in some way, that's like more than 1/5 of your time.
Yeah, one third of your time.
4 minutes is, yeah, close to 1/3 of your time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot. I wonder what he's thinking about. Let's look at some of White's plans here. One is A3, B4, as we discussed.
Mhm.
Another would be something like Queen C2 and Bishop D3.
I
Third
think
one,
queen on E2 is more logical. If I feel
huh,
queen C2 would uh, might
run
run
into rook
into
C8.
this.
Right, and then you anyway need to shift it to E2. So
Mhm.
Queen E2, placing the queen on E2 and going for the E4, E5
Oh, he
plan.
goes for
Right,
E4. He goes for
he
E4.
was going
Yeah.
for directly. So probably this is what he was thinking about.
Mhm.
Um, Maybe he's wondering what to do
I,
for bishop b7,
yep.
e5, knight
You have
e4.
definitely given some attention here, I feel.
Uh,
Uh,
Knight g4 or knight e4? Where do you want to go?
I was just thinking, I mean, probably knight E4 makes, knight D5 makes the most
Knight
sense, obviously.
e4 is also possible.
But kind of gives a few tempi for white after queen E2. You have to
I
attack
wanted
both,
to,
so to go back.
acha, I wanted to actually reroute my bishop to that diagonal, but then a6 falls.
A6 falls,
And
yeah.
now we really miss that b5.
Can't get everything.
We can't have everything, yeah.
Wait,
Hmm.
actually, E5 knight D5 was played. So, wow. He commits this E5, which is a big commitment, because this means that this bishop will always be on a long diagonal, and that it's very committal because it also blocks this bishop. But obviously it gives white some attacking potential.
Do
So
you
I'm
think he
curious to
missed?
see.
Do you think he missed 94 is met with 93? Do you think he missed that?
I am not sure if it is actually met because I think there might be knight d6 check.
But knight d6 we play bishop d6, no?
So bishop d6, queen d6, knight f1, and I don't really have anything.
Nihal looks very relaxed and Ding looks under a lot of pressure.
I'm actually
Just
curious
look at
if
both the players' body
knight
language.
knight e3.
Nihal doing yoga on screen.
Wow, very flexible. Rook e1 was played, and castles quickly played by Nihal, and he has a very comfortable position. Um,
And actually, this is very typical for QGA as we were discussing with the pawn coming to e5. So it looks like now white has all these pieces. You know, bishop will come to d3, then h4 भी खेलेंगे white और knight g5 खेल सकते हैं बाद में knight e4 आके knight g5 खेल सकते हैं पर इतना dangerous नहीं है ये attack and
it takes a
black
lot of moves,
it takes a lot of moves and black also has so many ideas of his own.
and
जैसे अभी
mhm.
सॉरी यस
No,
जैसे अभी
just,
b5 और क्वीन b6 एक आइडिया है
yeah, very nice idea.
और नाइट कमिंग टू f4 at some point or d3 square you know knight on f4 will be very well placed
Yep.
yeah and knight on f8 is a fantastic defender after we move the rook so ये पोजीशन बहुत ही अंडर कंट्रोल है ऑफ कोर्स इट्स जस्ट अ नॉर्मल मिडिल गेम पोजीशन बट द टाइम the difference in time is what makes it a slightly different position than usual QGA games because already Ding has taken close to 7 minutes on his clock.
Yep, and bishop d3 was the move chosen by him. And I really like this move, bishop e7. The more that I look at it, because it kind of allows me to go knight c5 and maybe even knight before knight d3 in the future.
So this like right now bishop e7 preventing any knight g5 ideas and
Yep, and creating my own idea of first of all knight c5, knight b4, and something like this. And secondly, I can even just go rook c8 and I open the file for my rook. For example, a move like knight e4 would be met by knight c5, I think. And I'm just very happy changing more amount of pieces because that means that you have one less attacker and now if you just see that knight f4, queen d5, this bishop is actually not so good. Just compare this bishop and this bishop. Once I move my knight somewhere,
yeah
this
that's a
bishop
very
is
good point. Even though both the bishops are placed on the exact same square,
there's
their
such a big difference.
potential, yeah, there is so much difference in their potential. It's like the वो हेयर एंड द टोटोइस स्टोरी में दोनों सेम जगह पे स्टार्ट करते हैं पर हेयर तो बहुत फास्ट मूव कर सकता है ना और टोटोइस बेचारा धीरे धीरे सो दे एक्चुअली डोंट स्टार्ट एट द सेम पॉइंट टेक्निकली
But but unfortunately, the
हाँ
tortoise.
वो तो हमें सिखाने के लिए एक कहानी बना दी उन लोगों ने पर
ऐसा कुछ होता तो नहीं है, हमेशा जीतता हैरी है.
हुआ नहीं ऐसा कुछ नहीं है मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि सबकी अपनी अपनी जर्नी होती है
है.
उसको हेयर को फास्ट फास्ट भागना है तो वो भाग लिया और टोटोइस को अपना धीरे धीरे करना है तो कर लिया
So Nihal is kind of taking his first thing here. Makes sense, I think, that it's kind of an important decision, whether you want to go b5, whether you want to go bishop e7, whether you just want to go rook c8. Maybe you want to commit a move like h6 here. So knight f4 actually is something that comes to my mind. I'd probably come to everyone's mind. Knight f4, bishop
हाँ
e4, and
yeah exactly this bishop e4 move looks very strong against knight f4 and it sort of defeats the purpose of bringing our knight to f4, because after black takes on e4, knight e4, he has managed to centralize his knight. And what did we receive? We actually exchanged our beautiful bishop in return.
Yeah. I think got some moves.
He has played bishop e7.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow. He played bishop e7. I like this idea a lot actually. Knight e4, knight c5, knight c5 played. Was this all played?
Yeah, I guess it's on the board, so let me check. Uh, Actually, I will get the moves with a delay, so you will get the moves earlier
Yes.
than
I think all of this has been played.
yeah, knight e4 on the board.
That's crazy. We predicted all of it.
That's fantastic, and it's a good prediction. It's not like we predicted some bad moves.
Yes.
Bishop e7,
I don't
fantastic
know
move
if we
by Harshit.
predicted the good moves by Ding because I mean I don't like exchanging more pieces at all. I
Why
mean
is Teimour on the board instead of Ding? I think Ding left, so we have Teimour now. But
Nihal is playing Teimour role reversal.
चैट को तो तैमूर और निहाल को ही देखना है ना, तो इसलिए चैट की फरमाइश हमने पूरी कर दी.
Favorite versus favorite. Now we don't know who to root for. It's still 96% favorite. Knight c5, bishop c5, and Ding is thinking. But Soumya, what if we see a whitewash? That would be incredible.
Yeah, it is quite possible that the match ends at this game. In both of their games, 3 games and match is over. It's very
What
much
is
possible.
happening in this game here? Lot of moves have been played, but I think we
Teimour
are
was black in this game, right?
yeah.
Yeah, Teimour is black.
So I think most likely we are going to see a fourth game here as Jan Nepomniachtchi seems to be much better.
Oh, we must have a look at what happened in the break. When we get a break, we must have a look at what exactly happened, because we saw that Nepo was creating a lot of pressure in the middle game, but we missed a few moves, and now we have this end game on the board with
Still some
Nepo.
drawing chances, but Nepomniachtchi in the clearly the driver's seat here with an extra pawn.
But do you think it's so bad, because the b3 pawn is also under attack, like rook e2 and rook c2 somewhere. The king is
But
not
that's
very much
so
in the game.
wow. I mean, that is so strange. Wow.
And now we are threatening knight b3, and when the knight moves, we go rook d2 and knight f3 and knight h2. This drawing pattern is available suddenly with knight h2, knight f3.
Yeah.
So basically, when the rook is on d2, for the chat, when the rook is on d2, we control the d file, so the king cannot move.
So, like knight d6, rook d2, knight e8, knight f3, knight g7, knight
and
f3.
now knight h2.
And now this
king E1
configuration with
the rook on d2 and the knight on f3 makes it impossible for the king to escape the checks.
And don't you ever go here.
Checkmate OP ho jayega. So let's see here. Teimour has good drawing chances, and we can expect both two results on this board. Definitely, Nepo can't lose this game unless he blunders something, but there are chances for white to win as well as the game to be in a draw. Do you want to have a look at what Nihal is doing?
Yep. Quickly was about to say to jump there. Bishop to c1. Soumya, how would you convince yourself to consider this move?
Kamal, actually, it's a beautiful move. I don't know if it works tactically, but I am so impressed with the move, because we were discussing bishop on b2 itna kuch useful nahi hai, and he brings it to a more useful diagonal. It's just that Yeah, knight b4 looks really strong, and now the
It's
queens
just
are
that
getting.
Nihal is too strong.
It's just that Nihal is too strong. Yeah. Do you think actually this whole knight e4 idea went wrong for white, as
Yeah,
you
you cannot.
mentioned?
I exchanging more pieces. I don't know. I guess it's not an easy decision for White already, but I
For
felt that
example, a3 was a move controlling b4 square, instead
yeah.
of
I actually honestly that's what I was the most intuitively inclined toward. But I guess Black would probably go Rook C8, wanting to go Knight C3.
but knight c3, is it a big deal? We
I
can
mean, I'm because your queen does not have any square, so at least as of now it's a threat. Because Knight C3 you cannot go here because I have this discovery.
right.
So maybe it's not a big deal. I just don't think that you would ever want to take because your dark squares are going to be extremely weak and my
Yeah,
rook.
and for example, let's say I play b4 here and you play a5, right?
I just go knight c. Oh, you want to go queen b3, but I have bishop.
Huh. You have bishop d5.
But yeah,
That's
complicated. Maybe just b5 to stop
but b5
to threat
and now
knight
I
c3.
have knight e4 because you don't have knight c5 anymore.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
This was possible.
Yes. Complicated. I mean, maybe some interesting way to play, but knight before bishop e2 has been played here. Maybe we can see what is
Yeah,
happening in
definitely.
Nihal. I mean, even just if you take like black is just better.
Black is better
Yeah. I
because
mean,
black's pieces are so much more active
yeah,
than
just
white.
look at how this is and this. I mean, just black is just simply better. Like this pawn is like it could be an advantage, but the thing is, it can also be a weakness. Like once you trade these knights, this pawn can be a weakness. I don't think Nihal will do this necessarily, but we also have to, as I was saying, that he has to make this choice now. That Queen D1 is probably like completely fine, and like he would never lose that. And in the match situation, I might think that it makes some sense. Or he can try to play an objectively best move like Queen E7 or Queen C7. So what do you do? What would you guys do? Would you take on D1 or would you try to play?
Great question for the chat. And while Nihal is thinking, if someone in the chat answers it correctly, then we give out a diamond membership. So go for it, chat. Let's see if you have the same thing in mind as Nihal right now. Shubham Sharma, by the way, has an excellent message. He says, "Damn, I don't think anybody could imagine a GM beating Ding Liren 3 times in 3 successive games, not even Magnus." Very well pointed out there.
And
Yeah,
he took on
just
D1.
completely unexpected, even though we were definitely rooting for Nihal. The way he has dominated this match is just amazing.
And
And he goes for the exchange.
yeah, I think that's a very good move. I would even think that he's probably going to go knight D3 and just trade everything off. Or maybe not. This might run into some tactics which I missed.
What
Bishop
kind of
G5.
tactics? Oh, and knight f2 runs into rook d8. That is the
Knight
point.
F2 runs into rook D8. So still has to be like he still has to be alert. Um, just a move like rook a c8, I guess. Knight d5 makes some sense. He went rook a c8, just centralizing. King f1 was played. A5 makes some sense to me because then you can move your bishop so that this pawn is no longer hanging. And with this, guys, with one draw, Nihal secures a spot in the quarterfinals. And it's a huge deal um, in terms of his performance, as well as because the stakes are very high. They are playing for a whopping $100,000 as the first prize, if I'm not wrong, Soumya.
$1
So
million prize fund. That's true.
that's going to be a even though these things are not in consideration for them at this exact game. $200,000 is actually the first prize. That is incredibly large amount, and
Yeah, I
even
think
Mhm.
it's bigger than most tournaments, no?
Yeah, it's bigger
Like
than ever.
it's probably, is it bigger than the
It's
FIDE World Cup?
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
So kudos to chess.com for man able like to be able
Organizing
to
this,
manage
yes.
this is insane. And I'm very happy that this is happening because players like Nihal, players like Ding Liren deserve this opportunity to be able to do well. Um, and they are showing rightfully so by organizing these events. And King F1, what was the move? H6. I like how Nihal is playing, I don't want to be checkmated on the back rank, so I'm just going to go H6. Knight E1, and I'm just going to go A5. Simple, logical moves, and I don't,
And
I don't see, I don't see Nihal not scoring a point or half.
look at Nihal's body language. He's so relaxed and calm about this. Debrup Das has got it right. He was rooting for taking on D1 at that exact moment when we asked the diamond membership question, and Nihal did take on D1. So congratulations, Debrup. You have just earned yourself a diamond membership on chess.com. Please contact Rakesh Bhai and claim your
Wow, congratulations.
diamond membership. Wonderful.
Nihal is ready to go to Canada, it seems like from his body language.
Nihal has already packed his suitcase. As
Nihal,
as Srinath mentioned, he does everything in bullet mode. जब डिंगलिरन सोच रहे थे, निहाल ने अपना सूटकेस पैक कर लिया.
वो ब्रेक में आई थिंक ही वाज जस्ट मेकिंग श्योर कौन सा शर्ट ले जाओ कनाडा. No, this is amazing. So I mean, Ding Liren is thinking, and probably he might just find a way to offer a draw or something, because even in this end game, black is much better. So uh, I
No,
mean,
I don't think he's offering a draw here because ऐसा तो नहीं है कि उनकी loss आ गई है. तो I think he's going to fight.
yeah,
पर
bishop d4 is a threat right now. By the way, guys, to attack the rook and the pawn. So a5 kind of supports the multi-purpose. Bishop e4 is also coming. He's not lost, but he is definitely much worse because he can also not push this pawn anywhere, because if he pushes a4, then the b3 is weak and a3 always runs into knight. Okay, not knight c2 now, but like a3 also weakens both these pawns. So a huge decision here to make for Ding. And he played a3, knight
yeah,
c6.
a3, knight c6, and he'll probably play f4. But then we get
It's too
knight
many, too much.
d4.
It's knight before knight f5, bishop b.
मतलब कुछ तो करना पड़ेगा उनको, बट हाँ उनकी पोजीशन बहुत खराब आ चुकी है और उनका
Yeah.
टाइम भी कम है. और बेसिकली ब्लैक की पोजीशन में कोई टारगेट्स ही नहीं है, और व्हाइट की पोजीशन में ऑन द अदर हैंड एक दो वीकनेसेस है, उनके पीसेस भी पैसिव है और उनका टाइम भी कम है और उनका मैच पोजीशन भी इंफीरियर है. तो सारे ही जो फैक्टर्स है ब्लैक के फेवर में है यहाँ पे.
So,
एंड
as you were saying, like sometimes things just work for you, everything is working for you. Sometimes nothing works for you. I think with Ding, nothing is working, and with Nihal, everything is working.
yeah, sometimes you see exactly one opening and go, and that opening comes on the board.
Mhm.
Like all of these miracles do happen, but the main thing is to, I feel the mindset. Like I just feel Nihal is so, as I've been talking about this again and again, I just feel Nihal to be very much in control today
Oh,
of his
this is great. This
emotions.
is just over. Pawn up.
Bishop b2
This is
or
just a
bishop
pawn up.
e5. Why bishop e2? Let's just take on e5. Yeah.
I mean, this is a clear pawn up for.
Yeah.
for Nihal. So
Yeah.
he's still thinking, just making sure to Bishop e3 played. I guess just take on c1, take on c1, and maybe like if you really want to make a like just want to play it
Hmm.
safe, then just go bishop d4.
And rook d1, we always have e5, so that's
Yeah,
okay.
I mean probably not objectively best, but good enough. I feel.
Hmm.
So he's thinking.
You can also take on d1, na, yahan pe?
Yeah, take on d1 is probably one simpler. Bishop d5. Because if you take, then take, and you cannot really move your rook anywhere because it's back rank issue. Rook b1, bishop a2, maybe a4 next.
A4, yeah. Nice.
Bishop d4, he's still thinking. He played bishop d4. Oh, so he played this.
He's listening. So we can expect rook d1 and then e5. And if rook c7, we can go bishop into e3 and go
Yeah, we
bishop
can make
d5 next.
okay. Or just bishop e4 I like even more so that your rook can come to d2. So
Oh, this is wonderful. Just looks wonderful for Nihal. Uh,
look at what is happening. They're listening.
I just want to say that Teimour has also managed to turn around and take some control of the position, but let's stick to this game. Yes, we
Draw
have.
agreed. Draw agreed. Draw agreed, Soumya. And Nihal qualifies to the quarterfinals.
With
Wow.
a wonderfully dominating performance, Nihal so much in control throughout the match against an extraordinary player like Ding Liren. Wonderful performance by Nihal Sarin to get to the finals of the CGC. He beat Ralph Mamedov in the first round. He beat a legend like Vladimir Kramnik in the round two. And here he has completely dominated in his
Wow.
match against Ding
That
Liren
was amazing. I'm going to
and earned
clap.
a place in the finals.
That was very, very well done by Nihal. Wow. Wow.
Totally
Incredible.
awesome performance.
Oh, and 3 seconds, and quickly going running to the other game. Big time pressure here for Radjabov.
But it's actually very much defendable, this position.
He's
From a very much minus position, he managed to bring it here.
mm-hmm.
And actually, Teimour is good in time scrambles as well. So I have a feeling he'll be able to hold this.
Won't be easy, but oh, now Rook a3 and Rook h3. Oh, this is a draw now.
Yeah, oops.
Oops, I did it again. Not King e6, by the way, and blunder some knight g5 tricks, which is probably King f6 was still a draw. Funny.
And King c7, knight e5. So we have to be a little careful. But this is basically a draw. You give up. You can also give up the knight for the pawn anytime, and rook versus rook and knight is a draw. Nepo will still play, of course, for another 100 moves.
And but just knight e5 here might secure it. G5, maybe just knight f7, knight g4. Okay, knight g4 makes sense.
Knight g4 and knight what?
You just,
King f3, knight e5.
Yeah, you just give check. Checks. Just keep giving checks now. Oh, knight f7. Knight.
Wow. G6, rook into e4 and knight e6.
Very nice. Trick.
Oh.
Ooh la la.
E4.
Rook b8. Rook e8.
Rook f7. Rook f7. Rook b8.
But all of them were draw.
Yeah, all of them were a draw.
We're screaming as if something happened. All of them were draw. I mean, if he has to take on g5, it's not. It's going to be a long game, especially with the king cut off.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
It's more
totally
difficult to win than to lose.
fine. Very well put.
Like even if you get a winning position, it's not easy to.
Yeah, you just need to keep the rook very much away so that it doesn't come
Yeah.
under any
Just
poke.
don't bring your rook uh, with a difference of 3 squares from the king. Only then can you get a fork.
Yeah, for example, now knight f3, if it was possible, would have been a fork, but it
Yeah.
wasn't possible.
But I think soon they will make 50 moves. So I'm sure that Raja will probably hold this to a draw.
Oh my god, he's always going to those king c4 squares and annoying those folks. King d6. This is too thrilling. But okay, rook
But he
a1,
got
rook
it. And
h1. Let's just go
I
away
think
from our king.
check just king c5.
King c4 now.
Mm-hmm. King c3.
King,
Rook a5. Yeah.
rook a5 and rook c5. Check देंगे तो.
Nice.
Rook
But
e5
so wow, Soumya, we saw two matches you're finishing in 3 games.
Yeah. Let's just hope this also
It's almost done, I think, unless he blunders the rook in,
be done with.
because they've almost made 50 moves. Incredible performance by the underdogs. Underdogs.
By the underdogs, according to the chess.com poll. Who are these people who voted? Yeah. I feel so sorry for them. Oh God. They must be Nepo and Ding fans, I think.
Yeah.
There is no other reason why someone will give such a skewed polling result. They must be Nepo and Ding fans. That is the only explanation.
Getting
Which is
close.
good enough explanation. Rook d2.
And if only if this knight was a bishop, it would have been a winning rook bishop versus rook endgame.
Even that's not easy, but
Even that, yeah. But okay. I think these guys would manage. And even this is a very nice king a5. It's like the
yeah.
defense in rook bishop versus rook.
Yeah. No, I'm surprised it was king a3, not king a. But it doesn't matter, I guess. Oh, rook e4. Oops. It is
Wow.
rook e4. Oh, Teimour in jubilation. Raises his
Wow.
hands.
Wow.
He's very happy.
Yeah, he should be. Just
Fantastic
beat
celebration by him.
Wow. I'm so surprised, honestly, to see that both these players managed to win in three games, because I was expecting a very close fight. I was not at all expecting so many results. But wow, what an action-packed day, Soumya.
Absolutely fantastic chess by both the winners of today's match, Nihal Sarin and Teimour Radjabov. They dominated the match from the first game, from the opening itself, actually. And they got through in less than 4 games. It's completely unexpected. Even before we started the stream, we were discussing and talking up amongst ourselves, and we were discussing that we were expecting 2 Armageddons today.
Yeah.
And none of our predictions actually happened, but we are very glad with the result, of course. Well done to both Nihal Sarin as well as Teimour. Teimour there with a fantastic celebration as well. Nihal more muted, but I'm sure he's also extremely happy.
Yep.
And we will see both of them play in Canada.
That's going to be exciting.
Very exciting. And actually Canada में बहुत सारे Indians रहते हैं. So if anyone in the chat is in Canada, you can actually think of going for the finals and viewing it in person. I'm sure it will be a fantastic
Soumya,
experience.
तुम जाने वाले हो क्या?
नहीं यार, यहाँ पे बहुत ठंडी रहती है कनाडा में। मेरा प्लान था कि मैंने ना कल बताया स्ट्रीम पे, टाइटल ट्यूसडे स्ट्रीम पे बताया मैंने कि मुझे एक सपना है, पता है कि निहाल सीजीसी फाइनल्स के लिए क्वालिफाई हो गया है, ठीक है, और फाइनल स्पेस में है।
स्पेस में, ओके।
हाँ, और हम कमेंटेटर स्पेसशिप में जाने वाले, कमेंटेट करने के लिए स्पेस में, हम भी स्पेस में ही कमेंटेट करेंगे, हम अर्थ से नहीं करने वाले कमेंटेट। बहुत ही मस्त सपना है ना।
इलॉन मस्क को डीएम करना चाहिए।
हाँ, तो उनको टैग करके कुछ हो सकता है नेक्स्ट एडिशन ऑफ सीजीसी में, ये सच हो सकता है ये सपना। बहुत ही मजा आएगा।
बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग।
Nihal will be joining us shortly for a quick interview, so
वाओ।
do stay with us, chat. We are waiting for the winner of the match between Nihal Sarin and Liren. Yeah, Sanket Joshi, such different reactions by the winning players. That's true. I actually Teimour का ना मैंने observe किया है कि he always raises his hands in jubilation whenever he plays against these players whom he's been playing against for many years, you know, जो बहुत सालों से टॉप 10 में रह चुके हैं। उनके साथ जब वो जीतते हैं तो हमेशा तैमूर ऐसे सेलिब्रेट करते हैं, और जब ये यंगस्टर्स के साथ जीतते हैं तो वो बस हंसते हैं, मुस्कुराते हैं, और यू नो ही इज वेरी म्यूटेड अबाउट हिज रिएक्शंस। So yeah, you actually get to learn a lot about the players just by observing the player cams. You know, I really like this introduction of player cams, which has happened only because of ऑनलाइन चेस, क्योंकि
Yeah.
ओवर द बोर्ड तो कोई सोच भी नहीं सकता ना। आपके सामने ओपोनेंट बेचारा दुखी बैठा है, आप उनके सामने थोड़ी ऐसे करोगे, यू नो, तो कैसा लगेगा।
But somewhere in every other sport they celebrate, so maybe we should also bring it in chess.
या बट इट्स नॉट अ कस्टम ना, तो भी सडनली एक जन ऐसा करेगा
हाँ,
तो बहुत ही
it's
ऑकवर्ड लगेगा। अगर
correct.
सब लोग साथ में एक यूनिटी बना के डिसाइड करेंगे तो अलग
Imagine
बात
winning a game and then starting to dance. Ding, ding, ding.
है। Yeah, like players should like form an association and come to a you know, agreement between themselves कि yeah, this we are going to follow this kind of celebration.
But I'm interested to ask Nihal how he prepared
Yeah, definitely.
today's match and what his
Definitely.
expectations were coming in. If
Yeah.
he himself thought that he was a 20% to 80% underdog or
No, I am quite sure he gave himself at least 50% chances, if not more.
yeah. I don't even think like he wanted to like I don't even think he was thinking about the result. He probably just wanted to, you know, play his best. And obviously deep down he wanted to win. And
Chat has some questions. Yeah, chat, do send us some questions. We are reading the chat. And it would be nicer if you just send the questions now so that we can actually keep them in mind while speaking to Nihal, and we can ask your questions to him. So before he joins, आपको अगर निहाल से कुछ पूछना है तो प्लीज चैट में लिखिए। आप हार्ट्स भी भेज सकते हैं निहाल को, जब वो ज्वाइन करेंगे तो उनको अच्छा लगेगा। ही हैज अर्नड इट। दिल तो जीत ही लिया है उन्होंने आज हमारा, डेफिनेटली।
no, but so yes, a lot of big tournaments actually coming up. I think he's also going to play in Cap d'Agde in France, if I'm not wrong. And after that, he will be going to Canada to play for the quarterfinals against Levon Aronian, which is going to be another incredibly difficult matchup for Nihal because Aronian also has a lot of experience playing online and obviously is one of the strongest chess players who is currently playing in the US Chess Championships. So yeah, very exciting days coming up for Nihal and also Radjabov. I'm not entirely sure whom he will be playing. But obviously for him is also another great result because Jan Nepomniachtchi, I would actually say was that even according to like the results would be the favorite in that match because he's an extremely aggressive and strong player in shorter time controls. But Radjabov managed to get on top of his game today and beat.
Yeah, definitely. I think Nepo actually was touted as one of the players who would potentially win the whole tournament itself, the CGC itself. So knocking him out in such style is definitely a huge achievement there. Even though for sure Teimour also is one of the contenders for the title from the very beginning. Yeah, there we have it. We have the table, and Teimour will be playing the winner of Giri versus Pongrato. So actually, we'll be seeing Teimour versus Anish in the quarterfinals.
Wow.
Um,
Soumya,
yeah,
I'm
that's
going to put you on the spot and ask you whom will you be rooting for?
I'm rooting for chess.
No. You can't root for chess. You have to root for Anish Giri or Teimour Radjabov.
I'm rooting for Nihal Sarin.
No. You have to answer.
Do you have an answer, Harshit?
I might have an answer depending on your answer.
Oh, very convenient. Arre wow. No, honestly, I'm not going to choose. So चेस के लिए रूट करेंगे हम इन अ वे अच्छी मैच है क्योंकि कोई भी जीतेगा तो खुशी ही होगी तो definitely a match that everyone will follow at least.
Yeah. So lot of it. I would actually love to go to Canada to watch these matches. I
You
don't know
can
if I
go to Canada, yaar. You are in USA.
would.
You
Yeah.
can actually go to the finals. That's a fantastic idea.
Yeah. Possible.
And everyone visiting can meet all the 8 players as well as Harshit at Canada. So,
I
guys,
don't.
everyone who is watching and from Canada right now, you can actually think of going and watching the CGC live. It's a fantastic experience actually to watch a tournament in person, you know. एक एटमॉस्फियर होता है और अगर आपने कभी चेस टूर्नामेंट इन पर्सन देखा नहीं है तो फर्स्ट टाइम देखना तो आपके लिए बहुत ही अच्छा एक्सपीरियंस रहेगा आप बहुत अलग रहेगा देन व्हाट यू हैव इमेजिन दैट मच आई कैन गारंटी
For sure.
सब मुझे याद है अजिंक्य जब फर्स्ट टाइम चेस टूर्नामेंट देखने आए थे तो हिज रिएक्शन वाज दैट इट वाज सच अ मेडिटेटिव एक्सपीरियंस वहां पे सब लोग कितना कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड रहते हैं मैंने कभी इमेजिन ही नहीं किया था
But
इतने 100 लोग एक साथ कॉन्सेंट्रेट करके शांति से बैठे हैं बट देयर इज सो मच एनर्जी एट द सेम टाइम इवन दो नोबडी इज टॉकिंग एनीथिंग
and all these chess players who are so quiet during the game are so much different than what you would think of them as.
yeah they're
So
very
many
different in person than what they appear on the screen. That
yeah.
much is for sure. You will definitely be in for some surprises.
Let's just say that.
हाँ. Anshika Catalan Vani has chosen a side. She says rooting for Anish extra points for those awesome tweets.
That's fair. Anish has
Lily
strong Twitter
says
game.
Lily has a nice take. Lily, by the way, I love her name. I have seen her previously also in the chats. Lily is such a nice name. And she says that I would pay to watch Nihal versus Hikaru match. मजा आ जाएगा ना?
That would be amazing.
I think that would be the finals.
Nihal versus Hikaru. If that would be the finals, Soumya, if that would be the finals, I promise that I'll go.
That you'll go to Canada?
Yeah. Nihal versus
Chalo, done deal. Chalo. Nice. Lot at stake here. Chess
That,
Enthu sends you a lot of love, Harshit. He says, Harshit, bro, I'm a big fan of yours. Love you loads. That's so
oh,
sweet.
thanks a lot. Yes. No, but that could actually, that's a realistic possibility, Soumya.
Exactly, because I feel Hikaru is definitely one of the favorites to win his group.
So let's see
Uh,
what happens here. So this was the quarterfinals, was it?
this was the no, no, this is not the quarterfinal. The quarterfinal will be the round of eight.
Okay. So after
Then,
this, Nihal will
huh,
play Aronian,
huh,
and the
and,
winner of their match will play the winner of Anish Giri versus Radjabov,
which will be the semi-final.
which will be the
And
semi-finals. And in this group, Nakamura will play against Duda, and
hmm,
so will play against Andrikin, and the winner of their matches will play each other respectively.
hmm,
So they're just 2 games away, if you look at it.
right, nice.
But this is a nice way to end the game, rook into knight, and one would think that black blundered checkmate, but obviously,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
no, perfect. He played just fantastic today, Teimour. Like, even though he was under a lot of pressure in the third game, he defended really well. And with such less time on the clock, also, I think
I was
he,
afraid for him actually, but um, in like in a position which we saw he was under big pressure,
yeah,
but
we actually left it. We left it when he played Rook
rook c2.
C2,
Mhm.
right? And I think White played Knight A5. Then they repeated a couple of moves, and
Mhm.
then White switched to Rook D7.
Yeah, to stop
That's
rook
what.
d2 and
Huh.
this trick.
Hmm.
Trick to talk.
So
Take, take. And white was always pushing, but
it's not easy.
it's
It,
not easy at
it's
all.
not winning. It's an advantage, but it's not yet a winning advantage.
Mhm. And this looks so scary, but knight b5 again. A7 rook 8 controls.
Knight A7 क्या must defender है?
Incredible, Soumya. How can I'm
कमाल. वो नाइट F3 पे था हर्षित. वो नाइट F3 पे था. वो A7 पे आके मस्त डिफेंड कर रहा है पूरा पोजीशन उसका.
और जब मेरे साथ ऐसा होता है तो यूजुअली वो नाइट एकदम मतलब
ब्लंडर ब्लंडर ही होती है
एड
वो.
वाला नाइट होता है वो A7 पे मतलब it goes from seeing a rainbow to not being able to see any light at all. But now, no, this is incredible defense. Wow. और pawn मार दिया. Black is a pawn of some.
Oh, what? Then how did they reach that position in time pressure? Huh? सच में यार ये कम टाइम में ना कुछ भी हो सकता है.
कुछ भी हो सकता है.
अच्छा, H6 was weak, so that's how. अच्छा, C6 भी चला गया, but now,
It was still in drawing margins because 2 versus 1.
yeah, and then finally that knight on A7 has come to B8 now.
It came from here to be able to take that pawn to come here. I mean, wow.
Yeah, beautiful journey.
So guys, just be hopeful in life.
मेरा प्ले चेस का आईडी है ट्रैवलिंग नाइट. ये उसी
Really?
का एग्जाम्पल है. ट्रैवलिंग नाइट. बहुत ही अच्छा ट्रैवल किया है उस नाइट ने. एकदम सुंदर जर्नी एक उन्होंने
And this is the draw side.
कवर की है.
Beautiful game, yeah.
फैंटास्टिक
Nihal
मूवी.
ji will be soon joining us. Excited to hear his words and what he says.
Bilal seems to be supporting So, or at least thinks So is at least equally strong as Hikaru in their potential matchup. So is really strong in rapid events, he says. Hikaru and So are on equal terms. The only downside for him would be the 2-second increment. Acha. So is a very solid player. So that is definitely a useful quality in faster time controls, क्योंकि फिर आपके सारे pieces supported रहते हैं, ऐसे कुछ hanging नहीं रह जाता, suddenly कोई tactic नहीं आ जाती. And he's done quite well in the online events as well. We have seen him win a few events as well. But yeah, he doesn't play Title Tuesday, for example, right? So ये So Wesley.
Yeah.
So मतलब
I mean,
what
he
I
does
mean
play,
is
but very
यहाँ पे
rarely.
अच्छा, because here the time control is 15 minutes, but the increment is only 2 seconds. So that makes a difference. Once you are down to 3 minutes, it's a blitz game.
Oh wow! And I think that I'm somehow biased towards Hikaru because I've just seen him do and win so many events and so many games, and like I've seen him play for like 12 to 15 hours non-stop online and still manage to have good results. So I just think of him as probably one of the best online players at this time.
Yeah, Hikaru for sure. Actually, he won the title Tuesday yesterday as well,
And the game started with A3 G5
A3.
between.
Hikaru and Magnus. Yeah, we covered it. And fifth move पे Magnus की pawn चले गई. मतलब वो pawn down है fifth move पे.
Yeah.
ये क्या हुआ? A3 खेला first move. Black played G5. White played E4. Black played C5. अभी Sicilian में pawn G5 पे क्या कर रहा है? So white played third move D4. Pawn into D4, queen into D4. Now
And
the
G5
H8
pawn.
rook is hanging, and the G5 pawn is also hanging.
Finito.
वैसे उनकी फिफ्थ मूव पे पहुंच चली गई, पर बाद में मैग्नस ने भी बहुत ज्यादा जादू दिखाया. वो तो मैजिशियन है ही. तो he managed to equalize, but then he made a mistake again in the middle game. But our producer has just told us, by the way, even after that he did finish third. Hikaru won the first place in the title Tuesday. Magnus lost the game to Hikaru, but उन्होंने बाकी सारे games जीत गए और वो third आए. And then he won the late title Tuesday. So also yesterday now Magnus was playing all his games with first move G4, white से और black से first move G5.
फिर भी सब गेम जीता.
हाँ, वो फर्स्ट गेम खेले भी नहीं. और he didn't play the first round. He only played 10 rounds. He scored 9 out of 10 and he came third.
I wish I
G4 and G5.
These guys have actually secured 20 lakh Indian rupees, which is equivalent of $25,000, which is Nihal and Radjabov. Incredible amounts of money at stake, whereas the loser of this match, which was Liren and Nepomniachtchi, secured $15,000. So now Nihal has secured 20 lakhs and he has a realistic chance of winning 1 crore 60 lakh rupees, equivalent of $200,000.
Yeah, that's just fantastic. I mean, to see this kind of prize money in chess, Fisher's soul must be so happy right now.
$200,000.
Yeah, it's just fantastic. I think
That's and I don't even think it's that long. I think it's only like a month long or something like this.
Yeah, it's not that long, but the point is almost all the top players in the world played in this event. So there were qualifications held from May, and the most unique part of this event was even amateurs could participate in this event. So it was open for all. Anybody with a verified chess.com account could participate in the qualifiers and qualify for the main knockouts of 64. And over where there were 32 invited qualified players and 32 invited players. Players like Vishy Anand, Vladimir Kramnik, Boris Gelfand, everybody agreed to play in this event. They were invited, while players like Ronak Sadhwani, Vidit Gujarati, and so many strong players, and Raikin have qualified and played in this event. And now we have just 8 players left. That's it. And one of them is right here with us, Nihal Sarin. Hi, Nihal.
Hi.
Congratulations. You played so well. We were just full of admiration.
Thank you.
Nihal, first of all, congrats and hi. It's nice to see you do so well. I had a few questions for you. How did you prepare for this match?
I did not really prepare for this much. I played like Spanish League and European Club Cup. So it was already
Played
like
some ping pong, I heard.
yeah, yeah, 2 strong tournaments. So I was a bit tired after coming back and just mainly just wanted to get rested and just stick to my opening.
Mm-hmm.
But did you have a strategy? Because, Nihal, I was saying on the stream as well, I've been observing you from the first day of this tournament. We were covering all your matches. But today, I think you seemed much more relaxed compared to all your other days. And also, you had so much time on your clock. So it felt as if you had a strategy that you were following.
No, not really.
No? Okay. Things just fell into place?
Yeah. And of course, he did not have a great day, obviously.
So, what do you think were like the crucial, like going into the first game, for example, you were playing with the black pieces. We were a little unsure of like the pawn structure and the strategical positions with the pawn on. If I can quickly get that game actually.
Yeah, with the bishop on e6 and the pawns on f5, f7 and d5, the bishop looked like a big pawn, but actually it was doing such a great job of defending your position.
How did you evaluate that position, Nihal, with the pawns on f5, d5?
I knew this structure from the opening, so I knew that if white plays like this, black can go into the structure. And okay, objectively, I don't know. I don't know how it is exactly. Maybe black is like very slightly worse, but I thought it's a very solid position.
Mm-hmm.
Despite the double pawns, like you're never allowing the white knight to get to like h5 in some ways. So knight e2, you just go bishop b6 and get it off. Also, the c pawn can get dangerous sometimes. I thought it's just a solid position, and also I chose this because I thought it's a very it's not played too much at the top level, so I thought he might not have like checked it for the candidates.
It's a very interesting point. A very interesting point that you make, that you're trying to in some ways not get into this preparation. And we were very impressed by this with what we thought that was this rook b4 and rook a4. How did you come about this?
Yeah, I was very happy about that. I thought, okay, rook b4 was sort of, well, I don't know. It was like I had to play, I thought. Rook a4 I was really happy with this decision. I thought, okay, it changes the dynamic and it's white who has to give it. So you give up your weakness, you don't have to worry about it anymore.
If you give up your weakness, you don't have to worry about it anymore.
And the a pawn could get surprisingly dangerous as it did in the game.
So did you evaluate this position as an advantage, or You like what was
Uh,
your evaluation?
I thought it should be around equal, and I did see this line where he plays like d5, queen e4, knight d4, rook d8, and I thought he's in some trouble.
Mhm.
And
After bishop e6, queen e6, d5,
yeah, d5. I had
queen
seen
e4.
queen e4, knight d4, rook d8.
You saw rook bait already?
When I played, when I went for this pawn sec, I did see that.
Mm-hmm.
Then I thought it should be very dangerous to
Wow.
walk right into it.
And after that, I think it was very, very difficult. And of course, queen into e1 was a nice way to
Yeah, yeah.
finish this. So
Very
yeah,
nice way to finish the game. I wanted to ask you one more question about the game before we move on to the second one. At no point you were concerned with the bishop on e6. You always felt like it is solid.
Mm, yeah, I thought it's fine because it looks a bit bad, but also I did not really see how white can exploit it. So it was
Mhm.
okay.
Nice. Yeah, it's useful to get insights from you because as like when you view the game, you have a completely different perspective while the players always have a completely different perspective uh, about their game. We can look at the second game maybe.
But
Sure.
definitely this game in the first one would have given you a lot of like it would have
Yeah,
definitely eased a lot of tension.
yes, for sure. And yeah, playing, I think first game is where I played the best. That really helped my confidence.
Mhm. And the second game, we started with the c3 move order. What was the story behind this?
Yeah, I was very confused after the first game, like what to play.
Mm-hmm.
Like I did not expect to win the first game with black account. So
Mm-hmm.
like what do I play now? Because c3 c5 can get that's what he has played more, and it can get quite complicated. But I was not sure what to do. Like should I go for something very solid or just try to play something offbeat? And again, the thing with c3 is that he's like such a move. It's unlikely that he took it very seriously. So I thought
Mm-hmm.
I'll just go for this.
And after e6, what I thought that bishop f4 is very smart because it gets rid of most of the
Yeah,
options
yeah.
with bishop f5 and bishop g4 and
Yes, yes. That's sort of a very smart point of this c3.
uh,
Uh,
and even if he played c5, I think you would have been happy because it's like I mean in the very worst case you could play like something like g3 maybe for example. Or I mean I don't know. I mean but like you always have like a good version of Slav.
where? Like c5, g3.
Okay, maybe not G3, but like in general, if like when black plays C5, you are at least a tempo up in the Slav, right? Uh,
Okay, I had pre-moved dc5 already. Okay.
really? Okay, yeah. So DC5, E6, B4, and I think it's could get
Yeah,
complicated.
and there is
Something
also
like
this move bishop e3, which is very interesting.
uh-huh.
And yeah, it can get quite
Mhm.
complex.
So he chose E6, and I think now you would be happy to at least get rid of
Yeah,
some of
yeah. I was happy to see e6.
E3, Queen,
But the
B6.
game it was very solid. Um,
Hmm?
Yeah, we were surprised that he went with this knight e4 and then he played knight d6 and we were very surprised with your move knight f3 as well actually
Yes.
when he played
Just
knight
quickly go
e4.
there.
so knight f3 after knight e4. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that I was.
Yeah. It was a bit defensive. I was like, I did not want to allow like some f6 with tempo, and maybe some f6 bishop g6 with tempo. I thought maybe I'll just come back to d2 and just play very solid.
Yeah, that's what I like. That's what I
Yeah,
thought that you just want to come to D2, exchange it, and
yeah,
play
yeah.
very solid.
Mhm.
I thought that one idea which Black could potentially have was to maybe at some point after knight f3, that is to try for like c4 and then were you considering to take on b6 or did you want to come back?
No, I never really wanted to take on b6.
I thought
But
that this could be maybe some way black could play, but you're probably it's still I mean very solid, but maybe something black could play.
Actually, maybe I will take on b6. And now we have that you have played c4, take on b6, a3.
Yeah.
But
Still.
if you're not getting d5 before immediately, it's very solid.
But even in that position, after queen c2, f6, you have knight d2 and then bishop g6. That is what you don't like, right? F6, you don't like allowing the bishop to g6, is it?
Yeah,
Just trying to understand.
maybe, but even this, like take queen d2, and then white can slowly try for e4 somehow, like f3, e4, like rook e1, f3.
Yeah.
Black can get d5 before in, but it still takes some time to break through the queen side. I don't know.
So knight f3, all knight d6, knight d2. Interesting.
And he played queen a5 here, forcing you to play a4.
No, my initial idea was actually to take on c5. Because bishop a4, I have queen a3, and I think I'm not losing it either.
Yeah.
And I'm also threatening b4 and yeah, in fact black will lose.
Instead of queen a3, maybe you could even do cd6 like Carlsen.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I did not even see cd6. Yeah.
cd6, bishop b3, ab3. Yeah. Take on e7.
Probably also looks terrible for black.
Yeah.
So you wanted to take
like yeah, dc5, queen c5, and something I don't even know what. I just did not know what to play.
Yeah. It's okay. You chose a4, a6. Also, that was makes sense. I guess he wants to go b5 at some point.
Yeah, I guess these positions you just make moves. It's hard to really come up with a plan, I think.
Yeah, and then you reach this position with knight to g5, right? Knight on g5.
Also, just one question: after bishop into d6, did you did you see it that you cannot take on b5, or did you miss it from afar?
When I played a5, definitely I sort of missed bishop b5. And like I saw it immediately after I played. That doesn't help.
So,
but okay, I was still very solid. And
you got this beautiful knight on g5, and suddenly a lot of tactics were working in your favor. We were constantly looking at bishop g6 ideas, for example.
Yes.
You know, so when you played g3, we were actually looking at the variation bishop g6. It's so interesting. Knight e6, rook e6, rook e6, bishop f7, and we mentioned that queen g5 does not work because of bishop e6, rook e6, bishop h2 check. And as soon as you played g3, we were like, oh, he saw all of this, and he prevented bishop h2 check.
I'll just clarify that I saw none of this. Just did not want to get mated on the back.
But g3 is a very intuitive move. No, it's a very good move, avoiding all these bishop h2 checks in the future.
Yes, and also just clearing the back ranks.
And after g3, you got this opportunity, and now you're going to take.
No, I totally missed it here.
Because now you would have this move queen g5 and this bishop h2 check. So this was.
If I'd seen this, I'd have probably gone for this. I did not.
So you went back knight h3. I guess you wanted to create something.
And it was very nice when you actually went knight f4. So let's go a little further. a3, pawn into queen a5, knight f4. And here I'm telling Harshit, now definitely Ding will take on f4, queen f4. We'll see this position. And Harshit is like, no, but he could also take on c3 and allow knight h5 and played that. And we was jubilated, like, oh my God, he missed this. Did you expect
that was unbelievable, actually. So very, very strange miss of miss by somebody of Ding's caliber.
No, I was just saying it for fun, like I was just saying,
Yeah, yeah.
or maybe he could play Queen C3 and blunder Knight H5 and mate. And the next thing I see Queen C3. I thought it's just my version, but he actually played it.
Yeah, I don't know how. Knight F4 just threatens, like, maybe he thought I wanted some Bishop G6 stuff, but that I could have done before it was. I don't know. It's very hard to say what he missed.
Like, were you very excited when he took on C3, or did you think that you missed something?
Yes, I was just very happy when he took. I thought I was definitely struggling after Bishop F4 and like Rook C3. Did
Mhm.
not have a clear plan, and like I was thinking maybe I take on G6, but
You mean Bishop F4, Queen F4?
yeah, Bishop F4. Maybe Black should take with the Queen. Yeah, because Rook C3. Do I have Bishop G6?
Yeah, you do have Bishop G6.
Yeah.
Does it work?
Yeah, and this looks very strong, no?
You have very good compensation.
Engine doesn't seem to agree. I was looking at stuff. Okay, Black has to take.
Maybe Queen D8 in the end.
And Queen. It's hard to believe that there is nothing, but probably
Yeah,
there
it
is.
looks.
I think that even if you got this position, like you would still have practical compensation.
Yeah, for sure. But something like this could have happened possibly.
Mhm.
So you did expect him to take on F4, right? And Queen C3
Yes.
came as a very
Yeah.
pleasant surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Then you took, and even just to quickly finish it off, I really
Yeah,
like.
I'm very happy with Queen E3 here.
Sorry.
So I'm very happy that I continued with Queen E3 here because okay, it was still a bit. It was a bit risky because like I had like around 25 seconds and here a lot
Yeah.
of time. But I thought I had to go for it here. Like you don't get so many chances against a player like this.
Mhm. And it honestly does look very, very good for white, right? Like I don't know
Yes.
how you were assessing it during the game. I guess
Yes.
it's different.
Yeah, I saw this plan with Queen E3 and Knight F6 G4, and it's very, very hard for Black to do.
And you just finished him off
Yeah,
in good fashion.
I just
Nice.
missed that D5 was coming, but luckily it didn't matter.
And
Luckily, rate is good enough.
mate is
Yeah.
good. It is very, very good, and you won this game. Nihal, how do you plan to celebrate this victory? Ultra bullet.
Yeah.
Are you the kind of person who celebrates, Nihal? Do you celebrate your victories?
No, generally not.
No. You play a little more chess that night.
Or just relax someone.
Relax. We had a question whether you play Ultra Bullet in the breaks.
No. I sort of gave up on that.
Ultra Bullet.
Yeah, I've become too old for 15 seconds.
What did you say? Please repeat. You have become old, I heard.
Yeah. What to do?
Nihal Sarin is saying he has become old for bullet, huh?
1 minute is still fine, but 15, my reflexes are not the same anymore.
Acha, 15 minutes is too less.
And now you're playing Levon in the quarterfinals in Canada. How do you see that matchup?
It will be a very interesting match. Just a fantastic experience.
And
Very much looking forward to it.
you've only played with him in the Tata Steel, right?
In the rapid.
Oh yeah. I forgot that I played against him there. Yes.
And if I remember watching that video live because I was like, it was some crazy. It was, if I'm not mistaken, you played the E4 E5 F7 since Bishop B5 F5.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And so you played the Shilman, and I was like, wow, this guy is playing Shilman against Aronian. Like that was a very interesting game. And what?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I had prepared Schliemann for that to do.
So you're
That's
playing.
fantastic, Nihal. We
Yeah.
are very happy that you have qualified for the finals, which will be held in Toronto, and you're playing Cap d'Agde next. Is that right? And then you'll go to Canada directly. You're not
Actually,
clear.
like I thought I have to, like, it's either of those. So
It's
now
either
I
of it.
guess
You have
I
to
go to,
choose.
they're clashing. So I
Oh,
guess I'll play Canada.
so you have to make a decision.
Yeah, I guess so. Canada is.
Okay, we hope to see you in Canada, Nihal, for sure. And we hope that you will go even further. We wish you the very best for your match against Aronian. And chat has sent you a lot of hearts. They also had a lot of questions for you, but I think we covered most of them. So thank you so much, Nihal, for your insights. It was a pleasure rooting for you and seeing you play such fantastic chess today. We hope that you go in the same way ahead in this tournament.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks, Neil.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, okay. No, I was on this video screen. I was a bit confused.
Ah, that's why. Understood.
Yeah, bye. See you.
Bye.
Wow, that was an amazing, insightful.
Very
Talk.
insightful. And we got a big reveal from Nihal that he doesn't play Ultra Bullet anymore. You heard it here, guys. Nihal Sarin thinks he's too old for Ultra Bullet now.
If he says it's too old for Ultra Bullet, don't even.
Don't even try it at home. Yeah, I forgot to ask Chris Kane's question. Next time, we'll definitely get a next time with Nihal. Chris Kane's had asked whether he meditates. We'll ask him next time. But he seems like a very calm person. So I think he has his own way of meditation. It might not be the same as everyone else, but seems like someone who is very much in control of his nerves. This was a great day, Harshit. I'm so
Yeah.
glad I got to commentate with you today, and it was so much fun. Your insights were really cool. Your predictions were really cool. Best part was that it worked in our favor. So
Yeah.
thank you
Thanks
so
a
much.
lot for having me and being my co-host. I had a great time, and I look forward to Nihal doing well in the semifinals and making me go to the finals if he faces Hikaru.
Definitely. We hope to see you at Canada. We'll be watching the match from here, and you'll be our anchor from Canada. वो न्यूज चैनल्स में होते हैं ना, सीधा प्रसारण कनाडा से, वैसे हर्षित हमारे लिए सीधा प्रसारण करेंगे कनाडा से. Thank you so much, chat, for being with us and all your questions. आज बहुत मजा आया. मस्त दोनों matches बहुत ही मस्त हुए, और we are looking forward to the finals now. Have a good evening. Wish you a very nice evening, and thank you so much for joining us. Bye bye.